Chapter 21-26. After Su Yun and Lillian returned to the apartment, Lillian smiled. "Thank you for bringing me back. I thought you would leave me there." "I really thought about it," Su Yun said. "After all, I owe you lunch. Your condition is to send you there and pay it back." "Well, now you've sent me back. Does that mean I owe you?" Lillian said, "I don't like to owe others. What do you want to eat tonight?" Su Yun smiled. "You can still freeload? That's great. I'll eat whatever I have. I'm not picky." At this time, Su Yun's phone rang. It was Li Guang. Li Guang had finished his work and asked Su Yun to go to Shallow Lake Manor for dinner. He also asked Su Yun to come over as soon as possible. Su Yun nodded and hung up the phone. "You owe me this dinner." Su Yun smiled faintly. "You also know that since I've chosen my path, it's not up to me." Lillian knew that she dealt with Li Guang and the people of Hongdong society every day. This was normal. "Okay, you go. Compared to you disturbing me, I really prefer to eat alone." Lillian said, "Oh, by the way, are you going back to Lon Bar tonight?" "That depends on Brother Guang. I'll go with him. I'll go first. You go upstairs." Su Yun opened the door and got back in. After setting the navigation route, he quickly left the apartment and went to Shallow Lake Manor. Shallow Lake Manor wasn't as big as Su Yun had imagined. Perhaps in a place like Hong Kong and Macau, a place of this scale could already be considered a manor. One must know that in Hua Xia, a manor was at least twice as big as this place. Of course, this place was not small. After Su Yun entered the manor, he found a place to eat and drove for several minutes. When Su Yun arrived, Li Guang's lackey, who was arranged outside, came forward to welcome him. "Brother Yun, please come in. Brother Guang is waiting for you inside. We're all brothers. Don't be so polite. Just call me Su Yun." Su Yun. This person kept calling him Brother Yun. It was really unnatural. It was as if he had really become Brother He. "Brother Yun, this is our rule." The man smiled. Li Guang's meaning was very clear. Everyone could see that Li Guang wanted Su Yun to have a position that was second only to him. Therefore, Li Guang's underlings were very polite to Su Yun. Su Yun was led to Li Guang's private room by the lackey. After seeing Su Yun, Li Guang hurriedly asked him to take a seat. "I left in a hurry at noon and forgot something." After saying that, Li Guang took out an envelope beside him and gave it to Su Yun. "Take it first." Su Yun did not even need to look to know what was inside the envelope. Judging from the thickness of the envelope, it was at least 50,000 yuan. He did not refuse Li Guang and directly accepted it. In the afternoon, Su Yun had already experienced what it meant to be a penniless hero. He did not want to experience the feeling of being penniless again. "Thank you, Brother Guang," Su Yun said. "Brother, don't look down on it. This is nothing to you." Li Guang said, "Don't think it's too little. Just treat it as pocket money. In the future, we brothers will definitely not lack this." Su Yun nodded. He looked at the decoration of the place. It was quite magnificent. Eating at this place was not something ordinary people could afford. "Brother Guang, there's no need for the two of us to be so ostentatious, right? Ha ha ha, brother, it's not just the two of us eating today." Li Guang laughed. "There will be someone paying the bill. Don't worry." Su Yun saw that Li Guang was sitting in the main seat. "Isn't this seat reserved for those who pay?" At that moment, a middle-aged man appeared. He was dressed in formal attire, but his forehead was covered in sweat. The moment he entered, he quickly apologized. "Sorry, Brother Guang. I'm really sorry. Something troublesome happened just now. I'm late. I'll punish myself. It's not time yet. I'm just a little early," Li Guang said. "All right, sit down." The middle-aged man nodded and sat down. Only then did he notice that there was another person present. He looked at Su Yun and asked Li Guang in confusion, "Brother Guang, this is?" "This is my brother, Su Yun," Li Guang said. I plan to hand over your matters to him in the future. The middle-aged man was stunned and he looked at Li Guang in confusion. Li Guang smiled and introduced him to Su Yun. This is Chief Chen Jianzhong. He is the boss of Shallow Lake Manor. This is Chief Chen's place, Su Yun said. Nice to meet you, Chief Chen. Chen Jianzhong quickly got up and poured tea for Su Yun and Li Guang. As he poured tea for Su Yun, he did not forget to curry favor with them. Brother Yun, I hope you can take care of me in the future. It's not easy to do business in this small place. Please bear with me and forgive me. Su Yun did not understand what he meant. He just nodded and did not say anything. Chen Jianzhong instructed the waiter to serve the dishes immediately. He had to make sure that Brother Guang and Brother Yun had a good meal and drink happily. Chief Chen, you just want my brother to take care of you. Is there anything else you want to say? Li Guang smiled. If my brother takes care of you, who will take care of my brother? Brother Guang, as you know, I'm having a hard time recently. Chen Jianzhong said, I guarantee that I won't be short of a single cent. Can you give me a few days, no, 10 days? Chief Chen, you have such a huge manor. Can't you take out that bit of money? Li Guang smiled. You know the interest. If you're late, the interest will compound by 5% every day. 10 days. That's how much interest. Do you think you can afford it? Brother Guang, listen to me. I'm in a hurry. If not, I definitely wouldn't drag it out for 10 days. Chen Jianzhong said, I beg you to be magnanimous. Just give me 10 days. I promise. It's just that I really can't afford the compound interest. Can you? Li Guang smiled. Chief Chen, you aren't someone who doesn't know the rules. I'm doing things according to the rules and according to the agreement. There are some things that you and I can't compromise on. It depends on the agreement. Since we have agreed on it, we have to do it according to the agreement. Brother Guang, please be magnanimous and give me a way out, Chen Jianzhong said. Li Guang looked at Su Yun. At that moment, the waiter began serving the dishes. Su Yun knew what Li Guang meant. He said to Chen Jianzhong, Chief Chen, don't make things difficult for Brother Guang. If there's anything, tell me. Don't disturb Brother Guang's eating mood. Yes. Let's eat first. Let's not talk about that while eating. How could Chen Jianzhong still be in the mood to eat? He kept pouring tea and water for Li Guang and Su Yun. He kept adding dishes for the two of them, but he didn't eat a single bite. He really couldn't eat. He was on tenterhooks. Su Yun was soon full. The taste was pretty good. The chef was quite good. Chief Chen, we're doing things according to the rules. Don't make things difficult for me or Brother Guang. Su Yun, regarding this matter, you have to give me a clear answer today. Otherwise, I don't know what I will do. Chen Jianzhong looked at Su Yun and realized that Su Yun wasn't the kind of person who could be easily fooled. 5 days. Just 5 days. 25% interest, Su Yun said. Li Guang opened his mouth to interrupt Su Yun. Compound interest. 5%. It's not 5 days of accumulation. It's compounded. It will be more. Su Yun nodded and said to Chen Jianzhong, I'm not good at math, but you know how much it is. After 5 days, 1% less. I really don't have that much interest. Chen Jianzhong said, how about 3 days? Even 3 days is fine. Su Yun looked at Li Guang. Li Guang sneered. Chen Jianzhong, do you really think I don't know if you have money? Chapter 21-27. Chen Jianzhong looked at Li Guang in horror. Li Guang said with disdain, Chen Jianzhong, I know how much money you have now. 3 days ago, you said you didn't have it. At that time, I believed you. So, I didn't force you. I really don't have it. Brother Guang, please believe me. Chen Jianzhong said. Chen Jianzhong, the trust one gave you is not for you to fool me. Li Guang smiled. 3 days ago, you really didn't have it. But after 10 a.m. today, the money was in. Am I right? Chen Jianzhong was shocked. How did Li Guang know? Your funds from Su Peng's financing company are in place. At 10 a.m. today, Su Peng handed over all the funds to you. Li Guang said, Chen Jianzhong, I don't care what you were thinking. Why didn't you contact me to return the money? Chen Jianzhong was still in shock. He didn't know what to say. Let me tell you, Chen Jianzhong. I know what you're thinking. If you think you can delay me for 3 days, you can delay me for 5 days. If you can delay me for 5 days, you can delay me for 10 days, half a month, or even longer. Li Guang said, Do you think I've been too nice to you? Chen Jianzhong was so nervous that his body was trembling. Li Guang was right. He did have such thoughts. In recent years, Hong Kong and Macau's economic development had been slightly stagnant. He thought that this would be an opportunity to rise. So, he had been researching a project. Now, if he could use the money that Hong Dong-shi lent him, he would be able to develop his business. Then, he could get another loan from the bank by mortgaging it. At that time, he could return the money, which would be the most beneficial for him. I'm at 8 p.m. Li Guang said, Chen Jianzhong, I'll give you 15 hours. Chen Jianzhong's fingers were trembling. He was afraid, but he was not willing to give up. Brother Guang. 10 days. I only need 10 days. Chen Jianzhong said, We've known each other for so long. Don't we even have 10 days of trust? How can I trust you? Just now, before I exposed you, you told me that you don't have money. Li Guang sneered. Don't talk to me about trust. I can only do things according to the rules. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Although Chen Jianzhong was nervous and afraid, he was also shocked and angry. Then what do you want? Su Yun directly pressed Chen Jianzhong onto the table and broke a glass cup. The sharp glass was directly pressed against Chen Jianzhong's throat. What do you think I want? Li Guang asked. Chen Jianzhong quickly said, Brother Guang, you can't do this. You can't do this to me. Let me tell you, Chen Jianzhong, the money you borrowed from Hong Dong Lending Company is due at 5 p.m. today. Li Guang said, I've already given you enough face by postponing it to tomorrow morning. Chen Jianzhong said, Brother Guang, let's talk things over. There's nothing to discuss. Li Guang replied, Tomorrow, after 5 a.m., your debt will exceed 24 hours. You know my rules. If you give me your little finger as interest, I won't pursue the 5% interest rate for the day. After saying that, Li Guang gave Su Yun a look. Other than Su Yun, there were also 3 of Li Guang's underlings present. Su Yun didn't hesitate and cut off Chen Jianzhong's little finger on the spot. Chen Jianzhong howled in pain. He didn't expect Li Guang to not give him any face. Chen Jianzhong, I know you're not a good person, but you better use your brain and think about the consequences of offending Hong Dong Lending Company. Li Guang said coldly, Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I'll get my brothers to wait for you in the main office of Hong Kong and Macau Bank. After saying that, Li Guang got up and walked out of the room. Su Yun threw away the blood-stained wine glass. Remember, it's 9 o'clock. Be there or be square. Looking at the people leaving one by one, Chen Jianzhong reluctantly took out his phone and dialed a number. When the call connected, the person on the other end was obviously in a chaotic place, so his voice was very loud. Speak. What happened? Brother Kuan, I can't do what you told me to do. Chen Jianzhong said painfully, I'd rather give up my business plan. I don't dare to hold back this money anymore. What do you mean? The person who answered the call was De Kuan. He didn't expect the matter he discussed with Chen Jianzhong to be changed. Chen Jianzhong, are you playing with me? Brother Kuan, I don't dare. I also want to succeed in this business, so I'll use this money to make an overdraft. I'm also sincere about giving you 30% of the dividends I promised you. Chen Jianzhong said, but I can't do business now. I can't hold back this money. I have to return it to Brother Guang tomorrow. I really can't use it for investment. I really can't give you any more benefits. De Kuan scolded loudly. Chen Jianzhong. Use your F** king brain and think about who helped you get this money. If I didn't step in, do you think Su Peng would have given you this money? You promised me that you wouldn't return this money to Li Guang. That's why I stepped in for you. I know all about it. Brother Kuan, but I can't do anything. Chen Jianzhong said, Brother Guang already arranged for someone to keep an eye on the accounts. He even cut off my little finger as interest. If I don't return it in 10 days, I won't even have 10 fingers left. What is he going to do? Before 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Brother Guang arranged for someone to meet me at the Hong Kong and Macau Bank to transfer the money. Chen Jianzhong said, I really can't do anything. Brother Kuan, I can't take it anymore. De Kuan said coldly, Who did he arrange to meet you? I haven't seen this person before. His name is Su Yun. He seems to be quite close with Brother Guang. Chen Jianzhong said, Brother Kuan, you are the most powerful among the few big brothers in the Hongdong group. You must know this person. Su Yun. It's Su Yun again. De Kuan's face became very cold. He felt unhappy when he first saw Su Yun. He didn't expect this guy to be his jinx. Well, since he was a jinx, he had to get rid of him. However, before getting rid of Su Yun, he had to finish what he was doing now. Today, that damn Fatty Tian dared to challenge him. Humph, well, then he would let Fatty Tian know what kind of person he, De Kuan, was. De Kuan hung up the phone. When Chen Jianzhong suddenly heard the busy tone, he was at a loss. He had no other choice but to do as Li Guang said. At this moment, De Kuan, who was on the Nine Dragon Mountain in the Huangdu district, threw away the cigarette butt in his hand. He pointed at a few underlings who were digging desperately and shouted, Dig! Hurry up and dig! Next to the pit, a young woman and a 5-year-old child who were tied up were crying their hearts out. However, because their mouths were sealed, they couldn't make a sound. Don't blame me for being ruthless. I, De Kuan, am very particular about what I do. I will do this today. If you want to blame someone, blame Fatty Tian. De Kuan said, If he didn't always go against me in the club, you and your son wouldn't have to go to the Western Paradise so early. Ha 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 ha. Soon, the pit was dug. De Kuan walked forward with a cold gaze and kicked the young woman and child into the pit. His underlings didn't hesitate and quickly began to fill the hole. De Kuan lit another cigarette and squinted his eyes to look at the stars in the sky. He muttered to himself, Fatty Tian, you're really fast in preparing. Luckily, I stopped you at the airport. Humph, humph, humph. You can't afford to play with me, De Kuan. Trash. After the underlings quickly buried the hole, they walked in front of De Kuan and waited for orders. De Kuan looked back and saw that there was no movement. He pointed at 2 of them and said, You 2 stay here and watch for the night. Go back tomorrow. After saying that, De Kuan left with the others. Chapter 21-28. After Li Guang and Su Yun left Chen Jianzhong's place, Li Guang received a call from Fatty Tian. He said that De Kuan had brought people to cause trouble at the place he was in charge of. Li Guang and Fatty Tian had always had a good relationship. He immediately rushed over with a few underlings and Su Yun. When they arrived, Fatty Tian had already settled the matter. He even caught 2 of De Kuan's men. Fatty Tian was angrily slapping the 2 guys. When he saw Li Guang, he immediately walked forward. Damn it, De Kuan is unruly now. Boss just left and he wants to cause trouble. Li Guang frowned. Are your wife and child okay? They're fine. Fatty Tian said, Don't worry. I arranged for their departure after I went back today. After saying that, Fatty Tian looked at the watch on his hand. The plane should have taken off an hour ago. I personally sent them to the airport. Just watch them board the plane with your own eyes, Li Guang said. Fatty Tian scolded, I wanted to watch them board the plane with my own eyes, but something happened when I just arrived at the airport. I let them go to the boarding gate by themselves. It's fine. There are so many people at the airport. I don't believe that De Kuan has the guts to hurt people at the airport. Li Guang took out a cigarette and handed one to Fatty Tian and one to Su Yun. Yes, we have to be careful when facing a mad dog like De Kuan. No one knows what De Kuan will do. That guy is a madman. You should be careful too. Who knows if this guy will bite you after he's done biting me? Fatty Tian said, I really should be like you and get married. Once I encounter this kind of mad dog, I have to worry more. It's good that you can send them away in time. You can do things with peace of mind. Li Guang said, how do you plan to deal with these two people? I will King cripple them first and send them back to De Kuan. I want to see how De Kuan will explain it to me. Fatty Tian said, when boss comes back, I must explain this matter to him. Li Guang took a puff of his cigarette. Fatty, you've been with boss for so many years. Don't you know how boss does things? Since when did he care too much about the disputes below? In the eyes of the boss, benefits are the most important. Fatty Tian was stunned. You saw it this morning. De Kuan's harvest was the highest, so even if he brought weapons into the meeting room, boss didn't say anything. Li Guang said, his harvest is almost twice as much as yours. Both of you have similar territories. Even if you look for boss, what can he do? Fatty Tian grinned. Yes, what Li Guang said made sense. Even if boss knew about it, what could he do? At most, he would say a few words. There would not be any substantial punishment for De Kuan. De Kuan has already figured out boss's mindset. Li Guang said, so he knows very well that as long as his harvest is guaranteed, boss will turn a blind eye to his actions. Fatty Tian nodded. Then how about we join forces to deal with him once? Deal with him? Li Guang said, think about it. If we do something to him now, and when we talk about the harvest at the next meeting, how will boss react if he hands over just a tiny bit? Boss will naturally ask for the reason. When the time comes, he will bite us back. What will boss think of us? Fatty Tian scratched his head. This wouldn't do, that wouldn't do. Could it be that he had to swallow his anger like this? Then what should we do? I definitely can't swallow this. Fatty Tian said. You have to swallow it even if you can't. Li Guang said, now is the time for De Kuan to be arrogant. A man knows when to yield and when to stand tall. As long as you stay calm, De Kuan can't do anything to you. Trust me. Fatty Tian let out a long sigh. Yes, he had to endure it. He raised his head and looked at Su Yun. Brother, you have to be careful too. That mad dog said some harsh words to you at the meeting today. He really dares to bite people. Su Yun smiled. Thank you for your concern, Brother Tian. You're Brother Guang's brother, so you're my brother too. I definitely have to care about you. Fatty Tian said, if you really encounter any trouble that Brother Guang can't solve, don't forget that there's still me. One more person means one more solution. Don't worry. Yes. Su Yun nodded. Li Guang said, don't worry about my brother. Even if De Kuan brings out all his subordinates, they might not be able to do anything to him. Fatty Tian thought to himself, you can keep bragging, but he obviously wouldn't say that on the surface. That wouldn't be giving him face. Yes, one look and I can tell that Brother Su Yun has extraordinary skills. Today you made that mad dog so miserable. Ha ha ha, it's really satisfying. Su Yun only smiled and didn't say anything. You too, I'm telling you, De Kuan will be King finished sooner or later. Follow him? Sell your life to him. Fatty Tian vented his anger on the two guys again. I'll let you know the consequences today. Go regret it. Beat them up. He beat them up really ruthlessly, as if he wanted to kill them. If you really beat these two guys to death, then there won't be any evidence. Li Guang smiled. All right, since I know that you're fine, then I'm relieved. But you still have to be careful. Don't worry. No problem. Fatty Tian nodded. No one would have thought that after Li Guang and Su Yun left with their men, De Kuan would personally come to look for them. Before Fatty Tian finished venting his anger, Dakuan rushed in with his men. Who is this? Who is this? So insensible and made Brother Tion angry. Take these two guys who don't know the rules away. Dakuan came in and was about to take them away. His men also rushed forward without saying anything. Fatty Tion came back to his senses and stepped in front of everyone. He scolded angrily, Dakuan, you really have the face to see me. Brother Tion, I'm sorry. I didn't discipline them well. I heard that my men gave you trouble, so I immediately came to solve the problem for you. Dakuan said, you have to understand that I'm here to help you. Help your sister. Fatty Tion waved his hand. You want them? Sure, but give me an explanation. I'm bringing my men back to discipline them. I don't think I need to give you an explanation, right? Dakuan smiled. Fatty, if I call you brother a few times, will you forget your surname? Then let me tell you, your surname is Tion. Do you remember? Fatty Tion was so angry that the fat all over his body trembled. Let me tell you, Dakuan. If you don't explain this clearly today, don't even think about taking them away. I've already said it. Did you not understand or did you not hear clearly? Dakuan said, you won't hold on to such a small matter, right? Fatty, if you have the time to argue with my two underlings, don't you have the time to personally send your wife and children to the plane? Hearing Dakuan's words, Fatty Tion's face completely changed. He grabbed Dakuan's collar. What did you say? Don't be agitated, okay? Dakuan said, sister-in-law and the children are fine. When they arrive at their destination, give them a call and ask. No, maybe they will tell you that they are safe once they get off the plane. Ha ha ha. Fatty Tion trembled and said, Dakuan, I'm telling you, don't provoke my family. Otherwise, I won't let you off. If you dare to touch my family, even if I die, I will kill you. I'm very scared. Don't scare me. Dakuan said, I'm just giving you a kind reminder. Fatty, my men will definitely be taken away today. Just give me an answer. Can you let me take them away happily? No. Fatty Tion said. Dakuan met his gaze. If I bring people to snatch them, I'm afraid your men won't be enough, right? You. Fatty Tion was completely speechless. This guy was completely unreasonable. Take them away. Dakuan spoke again. This time, Fatty Tion did not stop Dakuan. He allowed Dakuan to take the two people away in front of him. Sometimes, having more people was indeed useful. Fatty Tion fiercely punched the wall. He swore that he would kill Dakuan sooner or later. Fatty Tion looked at the time again and calmed himself down. In another half an hour, his wife and children would be able to safely arrive at the city arranged by the mainland. Then they would be safe. Chapter 21-29. However, after fidgeting for half an hour, Fatty Tion didn't receive a call from his wife. Fatty Tion called, but his phone still indicated that it was turned off and not in the service area. All of this made Fatty Tion extremely nervous. Within 10 minutes, Fatty Tion made 12 calls, but there was still no result. He couldn't sit still anymore. He immediately called the airline to ask about the flight. The other party told him that the flight had arrived safely. Fatty Tion immediately reported the names of his wife and child to them to help check. He also quickly received a reply. The two of them didn't board the plane in time, so they didn't leave Hong Kong and Macau with the flight. Fatty Tion's mind went blank, as if he was struck by lightning. He knew that he was in trouble now. Something had happened. This must be the damn Dakuan's doing. It must be Dakuan. Dakuan. I'll kill your whole family. Fatty Tion's mind was in a mess. His wife followed him without hesitation back then, and there was definitely true love between them. Although Fatty Tion's appearance wasn't outstanding, he really loved his family and could give them a sense of security. However, his son was only 5 years old. He was extremely adorable and looked exactly the same as he did when he was a child. His little face was so tender that water could be squeezed out of it. This baby was Fatty Tion's lifeblood. No matter how hard Fatty Tian worked outside, once he saw his baby, all his hardships would disappear. Fatty Tian dialed Dakuan's phone and scolded him, "Dakuan, you dare to King touch my family. Even if I die, I'll make your whole family pay with their lives. I'm warning you, let them go immediately." Dakuan received Fatty Tian's call. When he heard the other party's roar, he immediately moved the phone away from his ear. When Fatty Tian finished venting, he smiled and said, "Fatty, what happened? I don't understand what you're saying." "Don't pretend to be confused," Fatty Tian said angrily. "Dakuan, if there's any conflict between us, you can King come at me. Are you still human to lay your hands on women and children?" "Fatty, don't be angry. Didn't you threaten me just now that you're going to kill my whole family? If my family is killed, I'll suspect you and cause trouble for you?" Dakuan said, "Didn't I say that I was joking this morning? How could I do anything out of line to sister-in-law and child? Am I that kind of person?" "Cut it out," Fatty Tian said angrily. "Don't think that I can't do it. I can do what I say. If anything happens to my wife and child, I will really kill your whole family. *CK off. Fatty Tian, I'm warning you, I, Dakuan, only have one mother. She lives in Sim Sha Sui. Go ahead and kill her if you have the guts." Dakuan spat. "That would save me the trouble of taking care of her when she's old." Fatty Tian gritted his teeth and said, "Dakuan, you're King inhumane. How could you say something like that? I'm not you. Do you think that you, Fatty Tian, are a good person? Don't pretend to be virtuous in front of me, I won't fall for it." Dakuan said, "If you want to cause trouble with me, fine, I'll wait for you, I'll accompany you any time. Come find me if you have the guts. I'll be waiting for you. Don't think I don't dare. Where are you?" Dakuan snorted, "I'm going to Li Guang's place to drink now. Lon Bar, I'll wait for you." Dakuan hung up the phone after he finished speaking, not giving Fatty Tian a chance to speak. After hanging up the phone, Fatty Tian rushed to the Lon Bar. Halfway there, he remembered to call Li Guang and inform him that the Lon Bar was Li Guang's place. He was afraid that Dakuan was up to no good. He was definitely going to cause trouble. Fatty Tian hurriedly dialed Li Guang's phone. "Brother Guang, Dakuan is at Lon Bar, I'm going to find him now. My wife and child couldn't leave Hong Kong and Macau. It must be this bastard's doing." At this time, Li Guang had just returned to the apartment building where Su Yun lived with Su Yun. He originally planned to go to other places today. He wanted to tell Su Yun in detail about the possible trouble that might happen tomorrow, and how to prevent Chen Jianzhong from doing something when he transferred the money. Hearing Fatty Tian's words, Li Guang immediately warned Fatty Tian, "Don't be impulsive. Calm down first. I'll bring people over now, you mustn't have a conflict with him." Although Fatty Tian agreed verbally, he didn't listen to Li Guang's advice at all. He still rushed to Lon Bar at the fastest speed. It was impossible for Fatty Tian to calm down when it involved the safety of his family. Not to mention going to Lon Bar, even if Dakuan asked him to go to a mountain of knives or a sea of flames, he wouldn't even frown. Li Guang hung up the phone and asked Su Yun to go with him. Su Yun could also see the seriousness of the matter from Li Guang's expression. Obviously, although Fatty Tian was a member of Hongdong society, he wasn't the kind of person who was completely heartless. Li Guang couldn't ignore him. Moreover, if Li Guang wanted to gain a foothold in Hongdong society, it was important to have the support and help of people like Fatty Tian. Fatty Tian arrived at Lon Bar before Li Guang and Su Yun arrived. At this time, Dakuan was drinking happily. After Fatty Tian arrived, he rushed forward without saying a word and grabbed the wine bottle on Dakuan's table. Dakuan's underlings saw this and quickly stood up to protect Dakuan. The people in charge of Lon Bar all knew Dakuan and Fatty Tian. They were big brothers on the same level as their big brother, Li Guang. They didn't know how to intervene in this matter. "Dakuan, if you don't hand over the person today, don't think of walking out of here alive," Fatty Tian said fiercely. Dakuan wasn't nervous at all. "Which eye of yours saw me touch your wife and child?" Fatty Tian, don't frame a good person. Be careful, I'll sue you for slander. What do you want? Fatty Tian's eyes were red. I said, I didn't touch your family. De Kuan said, if you continue to pester me, then I won't be polite. F*ck your mother. Fatty Tian raised the wine bottle in his hand and threw it at De Kuan. De Kuan came prepared. He brought so many people with him, but Fatty Tian only brought a few people. He didn't think that De Kuan had already planned all of this. With this move, De Kuan's men swarmed forward and directly threw Fatty Tian and the few people he brought to the ground. De Kuan didn't have any intention of stopping his subordinates. So many people beat up Fatty Tian and the rest. Fatty Tian's head was split open and blood flowed out. His underlings were beaten up even more miserably in order to protect him. De Kuan had already instructed his underlings to beat Fatty Tian to death as long as he made a move. Even if this Fatty was crippled, the boss wouldn't do anything to him. The moment Fatty Tian stepped into the orchid bar, he had stepped into a trap. In the corner of the orchid bar, De Kuan's men had surrounded him and blocked his view. Just like that, Fatty Tian was beaten half to death. Trash. De Kuan sneered. The people in Lon Bar didn't dare to interfere, but seeing that the matter was getting out of hand, they still mustered their courage and tried to stop it. Brother Kuan, this is Brother Guang's place. If you have a conflict with Brother Tian, it doesn't seem to be in accordance with the rules. The man guarding the place wanted to use the rules to resolve the matter. At this moment, Fatty Tian and his men were already on the verge of death. De Kuan stepped forward and grabbed the back of the man's neck and pulled him in front of him. Who do you think you are? You want to talk about rules with me? Are you qualified? Brother Kuan. What I mean is, let me tell you, even if your brother Guang wants to talk about rules with me, he's not F*king qualified. De Kuan snorted. But I have a good temper and a good personality. I'll give your brother Guang some face and don't want anyone to die in his place. Thank you, Brother Kuan. Take your men and get these guys away. It's not like you don't know that Fatty Tian and your brother Guang have a good relationship. De Kuan said, I'll leave the matter of sending them to the hospital to you. If they really die on the road, it won't be my fault. It's because you didn't send them off in time. This man was also panicking. He hurriedly got people to carry Fatty Tian and the few beaten men to the car and send them to the hospital. No matter what, they had to save them first. Chapter 21:30. At this moment, Li Guang and Su Yun arrived at the scene. When they saw their men carrying Fatty Huang and his brothers to the hospital, they were furious. Who the F*ck did this? Do you think I want you to be a freeloader? Why can't you watch over such a small matter? Li Guang grabbed the brother he arranged to watch over the bar and roared, Are you trash? Su Yun signaled Li Guang to calm down. He couldn't blame his brother for this. Brother Guang, De Kuan is too much. You can't blame his brothers. They don't have the qualifications to challenge De Kuan. This is all part of De Kuan's plan. He wants to teach you a lesson. Li Guang's mood improved slightly under Su Yun's comfort. Hurry up and send them to the hospital. If anything happens to them, I'll teach you a lesson. The brother who was scolded felt wronged, but he had no choice. He had to do as Brother Guang said and not make a big deal out of it. De Kuan. Li Guang gritted his teeth. His gaze was sharp and he couldn't calm down for a long time. Su Yun strode forward. Brother Guang, since you're here, this matter will be easy to deal with. De Kuan caused trouble at your bar first. If he still wants to cause trouble, we'll accompany him to the end. At this moment, Li Guang's other two capable subordinates had already started calling people. They knew that Brother Guang wouldn't take this lying down. Li Guang strode into the lawn bar with Su Yun. They soon saw De Kuan, who was drinking and chatting merrily in the bar. De Kuan had a cigarette in one hand and a wine glass in the other. He was hugging two ladies who were drinking with him on his left and right. He was laughing without restraint. It was as if nothing had happened. He really didn't put Li Guang in his eyes. He knew that Li Guang couldn't do anything to him. Li Guang brought Su Yun and a few of his subordinates to De Kuan. De Kuan also saw a few people coming from afar and immediately signaled his subordinates to pour a glass of wine. When Li Guang came in front of De Kuan laughed and said, "Serve Brother Guang. Come, Brother Guang, let's drink. I'm here to take care of your business. Shouldn't you drink first as a sign of respect?" De Kuan's underling brought the glass of wine to Li Guang. Li Guang took the glass and splashed it on De Kuan's face without saying a word. This splash caught De Kuan off guard, and he was in a sorry state. De Kuan's underlings immediately surrounded him with righteous indignation, their bellies full of anger. However, Su Yun and the other brothers were not to be trifled with. They immediately prepared to take action. "De Kuan, what's wrong? Do you really think you have the ability to cause trouble in my territory?" Li Guang said, "You think you can walk out of here alive with just the few of you?" De Kuan had been splashed with wine. Although he was furious, for the sake of the big picture, he endured it. "Brother Guang, are you threatening me?" "I know. This is your King Street. You have a lot of people on this street. But do you really think that I, De Kuan, will only bring these few people when I go out?" "All right then. Since you're ready, let's see who can win," Li Guang said. De Kuan snorted. "What did I do that Brother Guang wants to kill me? Didn't I just come here for a drink? If Brother Guang can't afford it, it doesn't matter. I can pay the bill myself later, right? I know that Brother Guang's harvest this time is not as good as mine. I'll order 2 more bottles of wine. I'll give you more money for your cigarettes and wine." "De Kuan, you know very well what happened today." Li Guang said, "You and Fatty Tian don't like each other. You tricked him today." "I have nothing to say about that. But if you lay your hands on his family, you're not following the rules of the underworld." "Rules of the underworld?" De Kuan was stunned. "What are the rules of the underworld? Brother Guang, I don't understand. Can you tell me? What are the rules of the underworld?" "The rules of the underworld. If there is a personal grudge, you can only take it out on the person. You can't bully the person's family or children." Li Guang glared. De Kuan laughed. "If Brother Guang says so, then there's a lot. Brother Guang, are you going to give me a lesson and tell me about the rules of our society?" "There's no need. I can memorize them. You're not allowed to divulge the internal affairs of the society. You're not allowed to harm your fellow sect members. You're not allowed to rob in private. You're not allowed to defy orders. De Kuan, you know what I'm talking about. Don't change the topic." Li Guang said, "Don't go too far. We'll meet again in the future. Today, it was Fatty Tian who attacked me first. If you don't believe me, you can ask everyone here, including your own people." De Kuan said, he was the one who didn't follow the rules. He was the one who wanted to harm his fellow sect members. "I can't just sit there and be beaten, right?" Li Guang lost his patience. "That's not what I'm talking about. De Kuan, you know what I mean." "Oh. I understand. De Kuan smiled. "You're also going to say that I messed with Fatty Tian's woman and child, right? Then go and find evidence. If you can't find evidence, don't slander me here." Li Guang knew that there was no evidence for this matter. If De Kuan would leave evidence, he wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. Even if they went to the airport to check the surveillance footage now, they could only see that the person who took Fatty Tian's family away was one of De Kuan's underlings. And the underling who did this would definitely leave on a boat under De Kuan's arrangement. He might run to Taiwan Island, or he might run to Southeast Asia. De Kuan must have thought about these things clearly. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to be so unscrupulous. "De Kuan, don't make things difficult for me." Li Guang said, "Leave me some face." "I'm sorry, Brother Guang. You can investigate me as you wish. Fatty Tian's woman and child are really not in my hands. If they were in my hands, I would be your grandson. You should believe me, right?" De Kuan said. "Humph, of course they weren't in his hands. He had already gone to meet God." Li Guang frowned. Could it be that there was something else fishy about this matter? Who is that girl on the stage? Call her over and let me get to know her. Dakuan suddenly patted the underling beside him and asked him to do something. At this time, the person dancing on the bar stage was Lillian. Dakuan just took a few glances and was attracted by her small figure. Such a woman was really rare. If her waist was strong, her martial arts would definitely be good. She would definitely be able to serve people to death. The underling immediately went to pull her over. Li Guang frowned but didn't say anything. If Dakuan just wanted to get to know her, he had nothing to say. After all, Lillian worked here at night and had to face this kind of situation. However, Su Yun suddenly stopped the underling who was about to take action. No need to go. When the underling saw that it was Su Yun, he was about to get angry but held back. The reason was very simple. He saw Su Yun punch Brother Kuan and another underling out at the same time this morning. He was very skilled and didn't want to cause trouble for himself. Her name is Lillian. She only dances and does nothing else. Su Yun said coldly. Yo, you know quite a lot. Dakuan saw Su Yun speak and snorted heavily. I was wondering who it was. So it's you again. Brat, you really don't think your life is too big. Brother Kuan wants to get to know the woman he likes. Do you think it's your turn to speak? Su Yun said coldly, if I want to speak, I'm afraid it's not your turn to control me. I don't think I'm your man. Dakuan, who was offended, was furious. He said to his underling, I told you to bring her over. What the F***ck are you still standing there for? Just as the underling was about to move, Su Yun was about to make a move. Li Guang suddenly reached out and patted Su Yun's shoulder, indicating that Su Yun shouldn't act rashly. Some things couldn't be impulsive. Dakuan didn't do anything, so they had no reason to make a move. In the end, Su Yun chose to compromise. Li Guang's way of doing things was correct. He had to remember that he wasn't a good person. He shouldn't meddle too much in other people's business. There was only one premise for them to stop Dakuan's actions. Dakuan had to cause trouble in the venue. Otherwise, they couldn't do anything to Dakuan. Chapter 21:31. Dakuan's underling called Lillian over. Seeing that Li Guang and Su Yun were both there, Lillian had nothing to be afraid of. She went forward and greeted them generously. However, Dakuan's underling pushed Lillian in without any hesitation. Dakuan was even more daring. He grabbed Lillian's hand and pulled her to his side. Come, drink with Brother Kuan. With that, Dakuan's underling poured a full glass of wine for Lillian. This glass was 250 milliliters. That was half a caddy of whiskey. Brother Kuan, I don't know how to drink. Lillian could tell that the other party was up to no good. She smiled slightly and said, I'll pour wine for Brother Kuan. A toast to Brother Kuan. Dakuan's face darkened. You're not giving me face? Of course I don't dare to not give Brother Kuan face. Lillian hurriedly said, Brother Kuan is Brother Guang's friend. How would I dare to offend Brother Guang's friend? Brother Kuan, please don't take offense. I really respect you. Don't give me that. If you don't drink this cup of wine today, then you're not giving me, Dakuan, any face. Dakuan said, as expected of someone from Brother Guang's territory, you sure have guts. Brother Kuan, I really can't drink. Lillian still insisted on refusing. At this time, her wrist was already hurting from Dakuan's grip. However, for the sake of Li Guang, Su Yun, and Lon Bar, Lillian didn't say anything. Dakuan sneered. I think you're refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Do you want to drink a glass of the divine wine that Brother Kuan specially made for you? The so-called immortal wine was a very disgusting thing to do. In some places, there would be disgusting guests who would pay a high price for the hostesses to drink it. The so-called immortal wine would be poured down the penis and the hostess would directly catch it with her mouth and drink it. Usually, it would be mixed with the urine of these disgusting people. Lillian's expression changed. She knew that Dakuan wasn't a good person and wasn't someone she could afford to offend. However, if he wanted to insult her character, she definitely wouldn't accept it. She wasn't that kind of girl. She had her own principles. Choose one. Are you going to take the initiative, or do you want me to force you? Dakuin's arrogant look really made people want to beat him up. Lillian bit her lips. She didn't know what she should do, but with such a large cup of wine, she would definitely get drunk. Li Guang had been enduring, and so was Su Yun. He knew that as long as Li Guang didn't speak, he wouldn't be able to show off. He wasn't a good person, and only a good person would do something like a hero saving a beauty. Su Yun could only make a move if Li Guang gave the order. Li Guang also had his concerns. After all, Dakuin was at the same level as him. He couldn't fall out with Dakuin just because of a nightclub girl. This wouldn't work no matter what. Moreover, Dakuin only asked her to drink a glass of wine and didn't ask her to do anything else. In a bar, it was normal to ask a nightclub hostess to accompany you for a drink. The only thing that Dakuin did was to fill a full glass of alcohol. Unless it was someone like Su Yun, not to mention a girl, even a person who would feel itchy all over if he didn't drink for a day would definitely be confused if he drank a mouthful. Okay, I'll drink. Lillian finally made a decision. She picked up the glass and drank it all. She resisted the rush of alcohol and swallowed it forcefully. Okay. Dakuin laughed loudly. Lillian's eyes were already filled with tears from the alcohol. Su Yun clenched his fist. After he dealt with Wang Jinjin, he would definitely capture Dakuin alive, pry open his mouth, and force him to drink 5 bottles. He would let him have a taste of what it was like. Lillian drank all the alcohol in the glass in one breath. She immediately fell into a daze. The alcohol was too strong, and it wasn't something that Lillian could bear. You have a good alcohol tolerance. Come, another glass. Dakuin personally grabbed the wine bottle and filled Lillian's glass. He was very clear about what he was doing. He was wiping the wine. He knew that his actions were not considered to be causing trouble at Li Guang's place, so Li Guang could not do anything to him. Lillian was stunned at that moment. I poured this glass of alcohol for you personally. Dakuin said, if you don't drink. Humph. Then wouldn't my reputation be worse than a lackey? Dakuin's lackeys followed suit. Su Yun was about to explode. So many men bullying a girl. What the F***ck are they? They really have the nerve to say that they are members of a society. They are simply a bunch of hooligans. In Hong Kong and Macau, the biggest difference between society members and hooligans was that society members followed the rules. This Dakuin wasn't someone who followed the rules at all. He was a complete hooligan. Lillian, who had already drunk a glass of wine, began to lose her judgment. She didn't know what gave her the courage, but she actually picked up the glass and drank it all in one gulp. The alcohol flowed down from the corner of her mouth to her neck and soaked her collar. The originally thin clothes made the beauty inside even more visible. Good. I like it. You are really a heroine. Come, Brother Kuan will drink with you. To you. Dakuin actually continued to drink. Dakuin. Li Guang finally couldn't take it anymore. You are too much. He knew that if he didn't stop it, Dakuin's act of drinking would quickly make Lillian unconscious. Moreover, it was very likely that it would lead to acute alcohol poisoning. If something went wrong, it might even be a matter of life and death. Dakuin was stunned. It's just a glass of alcohol. Brother Guang won't stop me, right? She will die if she continues to drink like this. Li Guang said, Dakuin, I have already given you face. If you continue to cause trouble, then don't blame me for falling out with you. How do you want to fall out with me? For a nightclub girl? Dakuin snorted. I don't even want this girl. Do you think she is still a virgin? Your actions have already put the lives of the people in my place in danger. Dakuin, I am warning you for the last time. Li Guang said. I don't believe that a few glasses of alcohol can kill someone. Dakuin didn't listen to him. He forcefully pressed the glass of alcohol against Lillian's mouth. He was forcing it. Poor Lillian was already unconscious. Now, She could only rely on her weak willpower to close her mouth and resist powerlessly. Stop. Li Guang was finally angry. Su Yun didn't say anything. He elbowed one of De Kuen's underlings and turned around to kick two of them. Then, he pounced on De Kuen like a hungry tiger pouncing on its prey. He snatched the glass of alcohol from De Kuen's hand and threw it away. Then, he pinched open De Kuen's mouth with one hand, grabbed the entire bottle of alcohol, and stuffed it into De Kuen's mouth. De Kuen was completely under Su Yun's control. As he struggled, he kept gulping down the wine. He was choked to the point that tears flowed down his face. He was in a terrible state. However, Su Yun didn't have any intention of letting him go. He forced the entire bottle of alcohol into De Kuen's mouth. De Kuen's eyes were red. They were bloodshot and filled with tears. When De Kuen's underlings reacted, Su Yun had already done what he wanted to do. Even Li Guang was shocked. Su Yun was really merciless when he attacked. De Kuen's underlings were no match for Su Yun. Su Yun raised the bottle of alcohol in his hand and knocked two of them down. He turned around and sent another one flying with a kick. With a swing of his iron fist, Li Guang's underlings didn't even need to do anything. De Kuen's underlings were all lying on the ground. This was really King cool. Everyone in the bar witnessed this scene. Was he trying to cause trouble? This was simply a performance. Some of the customers even suspected that this was a movie about gangsters. They thought that these were all actors. However, there wasn't a single camera in the entire scene. There weren't any directors or celebrities either. Su Yun looked coldly at De Kuen. If this guy dared to do anything else and take out his gun again, he would definitely break his hand. De Kuen's mind was muddled by the entire bottle of whiskey. He was furious, but his limbs didn't have any strength. He tried to stand up several times, but he couldn't do it. Take your men and get lost. Li Guang didn't want Su Yun to make a big deal out of this, so he left his last sentence. De Kuen didn't resist anymore. He took his men and left dejectedly. This was the second time he lost face in front of Su Yun. He swore that he would make Su Yun die a horrible death. Yes, a horrible death. Chapter 21:32. Li Guang's face had always been gloomy. He knew that De Kuen definitely did not do anything good this time. Fatty Tian was beaten up like that, and he didn't know where De Kuen took his family. The current situation was really a bit tricky. Now, Li Guang not only had to arrange his brothers to investigate the news of Fatty Tian's wife and children, but he also had to check on Fatty Tian's situation. He also had to prevent De Kuen from doing anything to him next. He had to prepare a complete plan, otherwise, he wouldn't be able to react in time. Fortunately, Su Yun was a trustworthy person. Li Guang also trusted that Su Yun could deal with what he had to deal with now. Su Yun really didn't expect that after arriving in Hong Kong and Macau, he would have to face so many troubles without even having a proper conversation with Wang Jinjin. Su Yun, I need to deal with Fatty Tian. Li Guang said, I will leave Lillian to you to take care of. In fact, Lillian is a good girl. She is not what we see on the surface. Li Guang didn't know that Su Yun had accompanied Lillian to the orphanage in the afternoon, so Su Yun clearly realized that Lillian wasn't the kind of daughter who would casually indulge in debauchery. I know. You can rest assured, Brother Guang. Su Yun nodded. Right, there is something I didn't tell you. Li Guang said, Lillian lives in the apartment building that I arranged for you to live in. Su Yun almost said that he knew, but fortunately, he didn't say it. After all, Li Guang had so many underlings around him. He didn't know what kind of situation he would cause if he said something careless. Su Yun just nodded. 18th floor. Li Guang said, I think the key should be in her bag. You take her to the car first. I will ask someone to get her bag and send it to you. At this time, Lillian was already confused. Just when Su Yun was pouring alcohol into De Kuen's mouth, Lillian couldn't open her eyes. It was 2 full glasses of whiskey. Who could stand it? Moreover, she was not the kind of girl who could drink. I know, Brother Guang. After Su Yun finished speaking, he lifted Lillian up. Lillian was unconscious and her body was very heavy. She couldn't control herself at all. But perhaps it was her independent orphan personality that made her subconsciously mutter that she could do it, that she could do it. Just like that, Soo-yoon helped Lillian out of the bar. As soon as Lillian left the bar, she couldn't take it anymore. Her stomach felt like it was on fire. When Soo-yoon saw this, he quickly helped her to the side of the green belt. Lillian spat out some alcohol. She felt so uncomfortable that she couldn't breathe. "Go get her a bottle of water. And paper towels." Soo-yoon asked the little brother who came out with him to help quickly prepare. After Lillian vomited, she felt a little better. Soo-yoon quickly had her wipe her mouth and rinse her mouth. She couldn't take it anymore. She really couldn't take it anymore. She needed to be sent home to rest. In fact, since she could vomit, Soo-yoon was even more relieved. At least a part of the alcohol wouldn't continue to stay in her body and harm her. When Soo-yoon got Lillian into the car, a little brother brought Lillian's bag out. Lee Gwang followed closely behind. He had to rush to the hospital as soon as possible to check on Fatty Tion's condition. He hoped that Fatty Tion could sober up as soon as possible. That way, it would be easier to find his wife and child. Soo-yoon drove Lillian back to the apartment quickly. Lillian's condition didn't seem to be serious. It was just that she was so drunk that she probably wouldn't be able to wake up for a while. After returning to the apartment, Soo-yoon sent Lillian home. However, after searching her bag for a long time, he couldn't find the key to the house. In the end, Soo-yoon had no choice but to bring Lillian back to his apartment. It didn't matter. However, Lillian was so drunk that she didn't have any consciousness at all. She couldn't control herself at all. The most important thing was that her clothes were splashed with alcohol. It was really a bit miserable. Soo-yoon simply didn't stop. He took off her clothes and threw them into the washing machine. Lillian's outer clothes were originally thin. After being soaked by the alcohol, it was like a layer of gauze. Soo-yoon didn't have much of a difference between doing this and not doing it. A gentleman wouldn't take advantage of others when they were in danger. Even when Soo-yoon took a towel to help Lillian wipe her body, he didn't have any evil thoughts. If Lillian was awake now, Soo-yoon couldn't guarantee that he was a gentleman. However, Lillian was unconscious. Soo-yoon definitely wouldn't have any improper thoughts. This was the difference between a gentleman and a villain. People could be romantic, but they couldn't be hooligans. After everything was done, Soo-yoon put Lillian on the bed and covered her with a quilt to sleep. He hung the clothes in the washing machine on the small balcony for Lillian to dry. Although it was late, Soo-yoon couldn't sleep. He laid on the sofa and turned on the TV. He watched the night news of Hong Kong and Macau. After watching for a while, he fell asleep. That night, Lillian slept like the world was spinning. Every time she was slightly awake, she felt that the whole bed was spinning. The feeling of being drunk was really uncomfortable. This feeling of dizziness was still unbearable for her even when she was lying in bed. So uncomfortable. Lillian was really uncomfortable. After an unknown amount of time, Lillian finally woke up a lot. She didn't feel so dizzy anymore, but everything in front of her was unfamiliar. Although the layout of the bedroom was exactly the same as her home, the ceiling light here, the bed here, were all different. Where was this? Lillian opened her eyes wide and thought for a long time. She suddenly realized that something was wrong. She lifted the quilt and found that she was only wearing underwear. Where were her clothes? Lillian's brain buzzed. She was really nervous. Being drunk made it impossible for her to stay rational and calm. She wrapped the quilt around her body and walked out of the bedroom. At a glance, she saw Soo-yoon lying on the sofa. He was sleeping soundly. Soo-yoon fell asleep watching TV until very late yesterday. Now the TV was still on. It was already broadcasting the morning news of Hong Kong and Macau. At this time, Lillian also saw that her skirt was drying on the balcony. Lillian took a deep breath. What did Soo-yoon do to her yesterday? Lillian's mind was blank. She really couldn't figure out anything now. But one thing she was sure of was that she was completely unconscious yesterday. Even if she was in bed, the world was spinning. She felt that someone was touching her again. It must be that Su-Yun didn't do anything good to her. In the end, this guy was a bastard after all. Su-Yun, who was sleeping soundly, suddenly felt a murderous aura. He suddenly woke up and saw Lillian, who was standing in front of the sofa wrapped in a quilt, staring at him. "You scared me to death. I thought there was a ghost. You're finally awake." Su-Yun yawned and stretched. He felt comfortable all over. Lillian scolded with disdain. "Shameless. Despicable. Dirty." Su-Yun was scolded when he opened his eyes. His head was buzzing. He quickly sat up and stared at Lillian. "Who are you calling shameless? Who are you calling despicable? I'm dirty? How am I dirty? Let me tell you, not only am I not dirty, I'm also a living lei feng. If it wasn't for me, would you be able to come back here?" Lillian had a blank look on her face. It was obvious that she had drunk too much yesterday and couldn't remember what had happened to her. "Let me tell you, if it wasn't for me, you would have been taken away by Dakuan. I don't even know if you're dead or alive," Su-Yun said. Lillian still didn't understand what Su-Yun was saying, but she pointed at her clothes on the balcony and said, "Then what about my clothes? Didn't you take them off for me?" "Su-Yun, although I know that you're not a good person, I always thought that you were at least a person who dared to take responsibility for his actions." Su-Yun was speechless. He did dare to take responsibility for his actions, but he didn't do it. What did she want him to take responsibility for? Take responsibility for my ass. He didn't take any advantage at all. It was just a waste of energy. Now, he was even labeled as someone who dared to do but didn't dare to take responsibility. He was really speechless. Chapter 21:33. What do you think I did to you? Su-Yun said angrily, "Yesterday, Dakuan forced you to drink and you were unconscious. You were no different from a dead pig. I was the one who brought you back. Also, your clothes. If I didn't help you wash them, you would stink today." Lillian opened her eyes wide and tried her best to recall what happened yesterday. She vaguely remembered that she had indeed drunk 2 large glasses of strong liquor under Dakuan's threat. As for what happened after that, she couldn't remember at all because she had lost consciousness after that. Other than the wine stains on your body, there is vomit. Even if you don't care that you stink, I'm still worried that you will not be able to sleep on my bed. Su-Yun, have you thought it through? Think again. Did you cause trouble for yourself? Lillian pursed her lips. Yes, I remember a little. But you brought me back yesterday. A man and a woman were alone in a room. You even took off my clothes. I don't believe that you didn't do anything to me. Let me tell you. Although I'm not a good person, I'm definitely not someone who takes advantage of others. Su-Yun was also angry. You're awake now. I can do things like forcefully push you down. That's me. But you're not awake. Even if you spread your legs in front of me, I won't do anything to you. Lillian gritted her teeth and glared at Su-Yun. This guy really didn't treat her like a girl at all. I didn't touch you. Go to the bathroom and take off your underwear to check. See if I'm lying or not. You know your own body very well, right? Why do you still need me to waste my breath to explain it to you? With Su-Yun's short temper, he really couldn't stand other people doubting and humiliating his character. To be honest, Lillian knew her own body very well. She didn't feel anything strange. After all, she had never had that kind of relationship with a man. So if Su-Yun really did something to her, she would definitely feel that something was wrong. Although Lillian didn't know what it would feel like to have that kind of situation, she had read many romance novels written by girls. What kind of feeling was tearing, what kind of feeling was painful and happy? She did not have any of these feelings. She felt that she was the same as usual. There was nothing unusual about her at all. In that case, it was obvious that Su-Yun hadn't done anything to him. Lillian, think about your own body's condition. Su-Yun, if you've made up your mind, then put on your clothes and go back to your house. I've been tormenting you since yesterday. My whole body hurts from sleeping on the sofa. I still want to make up for it." Seeing that Soo-yoon was really angry, Lillian quickly coaxed him. "Well, I believe you didn't do anything to me. I misunderstood you. Is that okay?" Soo-yoon shook his head. "Whatever you want to suspect, I'm not a good person anyway. Even if you don't believe me, what can you do?" Soo-yoon knew. Lillian glared at Soo-yoon. "This guy is really something. Even if you didn't do anything to me, it's inevitable that you would touch me." Soo-yoon didn't deny it. "Yes, I touched you. I touched your whole body once. Are you satisfied with what I said?" This was a fact. When Soo-yoon helped Lillian wipe her body, these things couldn't be avoided. This was a normal thing. "Okay. I was wrong. I misunderstood you." Lillian snorted. "You're a big man. Can you not be so narrow-minded? Can you be more generous? Even if I said something wrong, it was unintentional. After all, I'm a girl. Can't I understand this?" When Soo-yoon heard Lillian's apology, it didn't matter. He shrugged his shoulders. "Of course, if you said so earlier, my mood wouldn't be so bad." I'm really impressed by you." Lillian shook her head helplessly. She walked to the balcony to take her clothes, but her clothes were not dry at all. She couldn't wear them. "Soo-yoon, I washed it last night. There may be some problems with this broken washing machine. It can't run normally when it's dry. I can't wear these clothes now. Let me borrow yours." After Lillian finished speaking, she went to the closet in the house. In fact, many girls fantasized about wearing their boyfriend's big shirt after taking a shower at home. The feeling was quite sweet. But when Lillian opened the closet, it was empty. There was nothing, not even a piece of clothes. "Big sister, please use your brain when you do things. Do you think that I, a person who just moved to Hong Kong and Macau, can have everything in the closet? Soo-yoon, I don't even have a pair of underwear to lend you." Lillian was speechless. "Then help me get it from home. I didn't find the key to your house at all." Soo-yoon pointed to Lillian's bag. "If I had the key to your house, I would have sent you directly to your house. Would I let you occupy my bed? Who said that my key would be in the bag?" Lillian was also speechless. "My key is under the mat at the door when I go out. It won't be easy to lose it." Soo-yoon was stunned. Why didn't he think of it? Now many people had this habit of putting the key under the mat at the door. They were really not afraid that a thief would directly find it and take the key to open the door and empty it. "Anyway, I don't have anything valuable to steal from my house." Lillian said, "You go and help me get one." Soo-yoon stood up reluctantly. "Then you go take a shower to get rid of the smell of alcohol on your body. You smell it yourself. It's really unbearable." "I got it." Lillian was a little embarrassed. When Soo-yoon went to get her clothes, she quickly threw the quilt back on the bed and quickly ran to the bathroom to take a shower. The underwear on her body was also dirty. Lillian threw it into the laundry basket. "I love to take a shower. My skin is so good." Just as Lillian hummed a song and took a comfortable bath, Soo-yoon also quickly came back from Lillian's house. Lillian's clothes were too easy to find. He could get a dress on the sofa. Soo-yoon didn't even need to waste his brain. After returning to the house, Soo-yoon shouted, "I got it back." "Then you help me put it in." Lillian, who had just finished bathing and was washing her hair, said. The bathroom in the apartment was not small. The shower room was separate. After Lillian finished speaking, she was ready to pull the curtain of the shower room. However, when she reached out, she didn't touch any curtain. Lillian's brain buzzed for a moment. She forgot that this was not her bathroom. It was all because this place was exactly the same as the one below his house. Great, there were no curtains in the bathroom. Soo-yoon didn't think much about it. Since Lillian dared to ask him to put it in, there must be something to cover it. There was no need to think about it at all. However, When Su-yoon opened the door, he saw clearly that the cover on Lillian's body was the scattered transparent shower gel bubbles. Who? Su-yoon awkwardly put the clothes on the hanger. Lillian looked stunned. If you said that you didn't care about these small details, then you didn't need me to put it in. You can just come out and wear it directly after washing. Su-yoon said to himself. Get out. Lillian covered her important parts with both hands and said. Su-yoon sighed helplessly. You're the one who let me in, and you're the one who let me out. You're really hard to please. When your body can't be covered and is completely exposed, the best cover is to cover your face. That way, no one will recognize you. Of course, Su-yoon would definitely be able to recognize it in the future. On Lillian's left hip, there was a lonely angel doll tattoo. Perhaps this was a pattern that she defined her life. This place couldn't be seen when wearing clothes, so Su-yoon said that he would be able to recognize it in the future. After all, there weren't many people who would tattoo such a friendly pattern. Moreover, it was very painful to tattoo such a place like the hip bone, and it wasn't easy to be seen. Lillian was probably the only person like this. Of course, Su-yoon would remember it. If you don't leave, I will. Lillian prepared the shower head to attack and reached out to open the bathroom door. I will go. Su-yoon quickly turned around. If the room was full of water, he would have to waste energy to clean it. It was too troublesome. Chapter 21:34. Lillian took a shower as fast as she could and hurriedly put on her clothes. Only by wearing her clothes would she feel safe. But Su-yoon, this fellow, really disappointed her too much. This was because Su-yoon only took this short skirt and nothing else. Her underwear had been thrown into the laundry basket. Now, she could only do it without clothes. This guy really didn't have a brain at all. He didn't consider what a girl needed at all. Lillian quickly washed her underwear, then walked out and went straight to the balcony to dry her underwear. Su-yoon was still at a loss. Shouldn't you take this thing back to your house to dry? It's not appropriate to leave it with me, right? What? Are you a pervert with lingerie fetishes? Lillian said. If not, then I have nothing to worry about. If you are, then it's really disgusting. Su-yoon didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't think of people so dirty, okay? Do I look like such a dirty person? Lillian rolled her eyes at Su-yoon. You really don't. Even when I asked you to go to my house to get clothes for me, you only took an outer layer and let me do it without clothes. I really admire your IQ. Su-yoon was stunned. He understood what Lillian meant, but he really didn't do it on purpose. He really didn't think of this. I'm really sorry about that. Su-yoon said. Then why don't you go home and change into another one? It's not a big deal. Then let's go. Come home with me. Lillian said. Su-yoon was stunned. Why? Go home with you? You want to thank me for everything I did for you yesterday, so you plan to repay me with your body? I can't accept this. You think too much, comrade. Lillian said. It's just because there's nothing at home, so I dare to say that the refrigerator must be empty. The refrigerator isn't turned on at all. Su-yoon said. I couldn't sleep last night. I wanted to grab a cold beer, but then I realized that the fridge didn't have electricity. So, if you don't go to my house, are you going to starve at your house? Lillian said. At least there's something to eat in my fridge. You won't starve to death. When Su-yoon heard that there was food, he didn't hesitate at all. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. We'll go right away. Lillian really didn't know if Su-yoon was really stupid or just pretending to be stupid. She didn't believe that Su-yoon couldn't even understand this. After the two of them arrived at Lillian's house, Lillian quickly went back to her bedroom to change her clothes. Then, she went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast for Su-yoon. She had a lot of food in the fridge. Toast, eggs, pizza, milk, everything. What happened at the end yesterday? Lillian threw the pizza into the microwave while preparing to fry the eggs and warm up the milk, but she was still curious about what happened yesterday. After drinking 2 glasses of wine, Lillian didn't remember anything at all, so she really seemed to know what happened yesterday. De Kuan was definitely a notorious guy in Hong Kong and Macau. Lillian didn't believe that De Kuan would let her go so easily. Obviously, something must have happened to make De Kuan give up on what he wanted to do to her. Nothing happened. Brother Guang told De Kuan not to go too far, so De Kuan was honest. Su Yun said. There was no need for him to brag about everything he had done. There was no point in doing so. Lillian pouted and said, "Why can't I say it? I don't believe that De Kuan is the kind of person who can be settled with 1 or 2 words. To be honest, it's because I can't drink. If I can drink, I definitely won't cause such trouble for you and Brother Guang. People who can drink can't drink 2 glasses so easily. Su Yun, De Kuan let you go because Brother Guang asked me to toast De Kuan with a bottle. It's that simple." Lillian was startled. It seemed that Su Yun really did something yesterday that was enough to make De Kuan furious. "Do you know the risk of doing this?" Lillian said. "De Kuan won't let you go. He can do anything. I think you should talk to Brother Guang and get closer to him. Don't do anything on your own." Su Yun smiled. "If I dare to do it, it means that I'm not afraid." Speaking of doing things alone, Su Yun remembered that he had to go to the bank at 9 o'clock to meet Chen Jianzhong to get back Chen Jianzhong's debt. It was now 7:30. There was enough time for him to finish breakfast and go to the Hong Kong and Macau bank to do things. "Breakfast is ready. I still have something to deal with after eating. You should rest at home. The alcohol won't dissipate so quickly in the body. Su Yun, I'll leave you the key to the house. After you catch up on your sleep, I'll go and get your clothes back." Lillian nodded. "There's no hurry. I still have clothes to wear." "I'm not worried that you don't have clothes to wear. I'm worried that if Brother Guang goes back with me and sees your clothes drying on the balcony, it will be hard to explain. Su Yun, if he misunderstands that I'm a guy who takes advantage of others, how can I have the face to hang out with him?" Lillian smiled playfully. "If Brother Guang really sees it, then I'll say that I was willing to do it. That's fine. I'm an adult. If I want to do something, no one has the right to discipline me." Su Yun smiled bitterly. Lillian brought him the fried eggs and milk. The pizza in the microwave was also done. After the two of them had a simple breakfast, it was already 8:15. After Su Yun made some preparations, he said goodbye to Lillian and drove to the Hong Kong and Macau bank. Li Guang gave him a bank card. As long as Chen Jianzhong transferred the 56 million Hong Kong dollars that he owed to him, everything would be over. All he had to do was to destroy the contract that Chen Jianzhong had signed with them. When Su Yun arrived at the Hong Kong and Macau bank building, Chen Jianzhong was already pacing back and forth in front of the bank. He was so nervous that he couldn't even feel how painful his fingers were. Su Yun stopped the car and walked directly behind Chen Jianzhong. Chen Jianzhong lowered his head and his mind was full of messy things. He didn't notice at all. "You're quite early," Su Yun said. Chen Jianzhong was so scared that he trembled all over. When he turned around and saw Su Yun, he was like a bird startled by the twang of a bow. Yes, I'm already here." Chen Jianzhong said, "We'll transfer the money immediately. This way, Brother Guang and I are even. This way, you won't trouble me anymore, right?" Su Yun nodded. "Of course not." Chen Jianzhong took a deep breath. "That's great." Everything ended smoothly. He didn't want to work with the people of Hongdong society anymore. The people of Hongdong society really made him feel insecure. After all, it was a society. "Let's go. The earlier we finish, the earlier we can go home," Su Yun said. Chen Jianzhong nodded again and again. Just as the two were about to enter the bank, 2 cars suddenly came. More than a dozen people came out of the cars. Without saying anything, they went up and held Chen Jianzhong down. Chen Jianzhong didn't feel good. They were going to kidnap him in front of everyone. Su Yun frowned. Just as he wanted to stop them, the people on the other side took out several pistols. In the car parked on the side, someone also aimed a gun at Su Yun. At this distance, Su Yun had no problem dealing with a few pistols at the same time, but he couldn't deal with the people in the car. Although he was confident that he could dodge the bullets, there were so many people in front of the bank. If an ordinary person was accidentally injured, wouldn't it be a sin? Therefore, Su Yun could only wait. Surnamed Su, Chen Jianzhong has something with our brother Kuan, so we can only take him away. You better know your place. One of the people holding a gun said to Su Yun fiercely, "Also, let me tell you, don't think that you can escape punishment. People who offend brother Kuan won't have a good ending." After that, the guy waved his hand and said to the others, "Take him away." Chen Jianzhong complained and begged for mercy, but these people didn't care about him. Chen Jianzhong had no choice but to ask Su Yun for help. "Save me. Let brother Guang save me. I didn't return the money because of De Kuan. I beg you, let brother Guang save me." Chapter 21:35. Su Yun furrowed his brows tightly. It turned out that the matter was far more complicated than they had imagined. This damn Chen Jianzhong and De Kuan were also related and involved. This De Kuan had really stretched his hand too far. He wanted to interfere in everything. How could such a person survive in the society? He really didn't know what Wang Jinjin was thinking. Wasn't he afraid that De Kuan would suddenly stretch his hand into Wang Jinjin's management one day? At that time, Wang Jinjin's own position might not be stable, right? Damn De Kuan. Su Yun didn't waste any more time and quickly dialed Li Guang's number. Time couldn't be wasted. Li Guang was investigating Fatty Tian's wife and child. According to the clues he had now, Fatty Tian's wife and child were most likely dead. Now, he received a call from Su Yun saying that Chen Jianzhong had been taken away by De Kuan's people. What De Kuan had done was beyond Li Guang's tolerance. Li Guang couldn't care so much now. He asked Su Yun to find him immediately. He wanted to bring people to negotiate with De Kuan. Li Guang and De Kuan agreed to meet at a clubhouse in Sim Sha Sui. This was basically De Kuan's headquarters. There were about 100 of De Kuan's subordinates in the clubhouse. Hence, De Kuan was absolutely fearless here. Li Guang didn't stand on ceremony. He brought more than 20 cars of people to the clubhouse where De Kuan was. This indeed made De Kuan's subordinates a little scared. Who would bring so many people for a meeting? There were at least 70 to 80 people in these 20 cars. De Kuan's subordinates didn't let all the cars in. They only let Li Guang's car and a few people in the car into the clubhouse. Then, in order to prevent the people in the cars outside from causing trouble, half of the people De Kuan arranged in the clubhouse came to the entrance of the clubhouse. On one side, there were De Kuan's subordinates. On the other side, there were people brought by Li Guang. Both sides were full of people. Everyone had an arrogant look on their faces. The people Li Guang brought had red strings tied around their arms. It was obvious what this meant. This meant that when they fought later, the brothers with the red strings on their arms shouldn't be cut. It was also to tell the other party that if they were to really fight later, they should look for those with red strings. Don't be *King Coward. Based on this lineup, it was definitely the rhythm of a real fight. Since Li Guang was prepared, he dared to tear apart De Kuan's face. Now, there was nothing left to say. De Kuan had gone too far. There was nothing left to talk about. De Kuan drank his tea while waiting for Li Guang's arrival. He still didn't believe that Li Guang could do anything to him. This was because De Kuan's impression of Li Guang was that he wasn't someone who was easily angered, and Li Guang wasn't someone who was particularly ruthless. The reason why Li Guang was able to reach his current position was because he had strong principles. That was why he was appreciated by Wang Jinjin. However, during this 1 year, De Kuan had used a different method to interpret it. He had also gained Wang Jinjin's appreciation. That was because he was ruthless enough. No matter who dared to go against him, De Kuan would let them know the consequences of going against him. This ruthlessness also led to De Kuan's current status. De Kuan and Li Guang weren't the same type of people. In De Kuan's world, as long as he was ruthless enough, everyone would be afraid of him. As long as he was ruthless enough, everyone would be afraid of him. As long as he was ruthless enough, he could get everything he wanted. Li Guang finally arrived. This time, he didn't intend to discuss with De Kuan. After entering the room, he frowned coldly. "Hurry up and bring a chair for Brother Guang." De Kuan smiled and ordered his subordinates. He sat on a wide single European-style sofa, but he asked someone to bring a wooden chair for Li Guang. Of course, Li Guang didn't give him any face. He kicked the chair that De Kuan's subordinate brought over and sent it flying. "De Kuan, I'm not here to drink tea with you today. Tell me, what did you do to Fatty Tion's wife? If you haven't done anything, you still have time to stop." De Kuan was stunned. Brother Guang is indeed Brother Guang, the light of Formosa. "What? Brother Guang, do you have accurate evidence? That's why you came to find me?" Although De Kuan didn't directly admit it, he had indirectly told Li Guang that he did it. If he didn't have evidence, he shouldn't talk to him about this matter. "I'm warning you for the last time, stop. De Kuan, no matter what, Fatty Tion is still a member of the society. He's also working for the society." Li Guang said, "You really don't leave any way out for yourself." De Kuan smiled slightly. "Brother Guang, you know how I, De Kuan, do things. I never do things that I'm not sure of, and I never give up halfway. If I, De Kuan, want to do something, then I will definitely do it thoroughly in one go." Li Guang knew in his heart that there was probably no chance to salvage this matter. "You really don't leave any way out for yourself." "Brother Guang, who said that I didn't leave any way out?" De Kuan laughed out loud. "You don't have any evidence to prove what I did. Do you think that just because you say that I killed Fatty Tion's wife and children, I killed them? I can even say that you killed them and then framed me. You have to pay attention to evidence when you do things." Li Guang clenched his fists. "De Kuan, this bastard. Then hand Chen Jianzhong over to me." Li Guang said, "This is not something without evidence. I don't care what grudges you have with Chen Jianzhong. Ask him to come out and pay me back the money that he owes me. You can deal with the rest of the matter as you wish. Even if you kill him, it has nothing to do with me." Brother Guang is really ruthless. De Kuan sighed. Li Guang gritted his teeth and said, "Let me tell you before I get back the money, you'd better not touch a single hair on him." "Brother Guang, I'm sorry, this Chen Jianzhong also owes me money." De Kuan said, "So, whoever catches him first will let him pay back the money first. Don't you think so? There has to be a first come first serve when doing things." Li Guang was about to fall out with him. De Kuan took out a piece of paper. "Look, this is an IOU. 56 million Hong Kong dollars. He owes me, and even his handprint is on it. Don't you think I should ask him for it? Did I violate the rules?" Li Guang snatched the so-called IOU. The handprint on it was fresh. It had just been pressed. Without a word, Li Guang tore the IOU into pieces. "Ha ha ha, Brother Guang, don't be angry." De Kuan said, "Tear it. It's fine. I still have more. Tear it up for Brother Guang." With that said, De Kuan took out another piece of paper and handed it to Li Guang. He had prepared many of them. He knew that Li Guang would do that. "De Kuan, don't blame me for what happened today," Li Guang said. "Wait a moment." De Kuan smiled and said, "Brother Guang, don't say that I'm not a particular person. If you say that you and Chen Jianzhong made an appointment to go to the bank first, then fine. I can discuss this money with you and get him to return it to you first. However, I have a condition." Li Guang frowned. "What condition?" "Yesterday your man—" "Yes, that's him, Su Yun. Did I remember wrongly?" De Kuan said, "You saw how he treated me. He has no manners at all. Who does he think he is? What right does he have to attack me? Force me to drink? All right, then apologize to me today. After that, we can discuss everything." Li Guang glared. De Kuan had already called for his subordinates to push a cart over. There was an entire layer of 20 cups on it. Each cup was filled with 20 different kinds of spirits. There were all kinds of them. "Aren't you going to force me to drink?" De Kuan sneered. Then I'll let you know the consequences. Li Guang obviously wouldn't agree to Su Yun's actions. It was impossible. 20 cups of spirits. If he drank them together, it would add up to 5,000 milliliters. It was equivalent to drinking 6 to 7 bottles of spirits in one go. He would definitely drink someone to death on the spot. De Kuan was here for Su Yun. He wanted to force Su Yun into a corner. Impossible. Li Guang said, De Kuan, don't go overboard. Take a bottle of alcohol. I'll drink with you today. I'll drink first as a sign of respect. This matter will be resolved like this. If you don't agree, then there's no room for discussion. Chapter 21:36. De Kuan shook his head. Brother Guang, you know my character and personality. I won't drink with you. I agreed to meet you today not to drink and chat. Haha. After drinking this wine, everything can be discussed. If you don't drink, there's no need to talk. Su Yun smiled and walked to the cart of wine. Just this bit of wine? Brother Kuan, do you have no money? Aren't you a little too stingy? There's no point in boasting, De Kuan said disdainfully. De Kuan said disdainfully. He had seen people with good alcohol tolerance, and they would definitely collapse after drinking 3 bottles of wine. The human body's tolerance for alcohol was limited, so De Kuan was full of confidence. He did not know that there was a kind of person in the world who could be completely immune to alcohol after training. Su Yun nonchalantly picked up a cup of wine and downed it without saying a word. Everyone's eyes were focused on Su Yun after he downed the cup of wine. Li Guang didn't expect Su Yun to agree to De Kuan's request so easily. This was an impossible task. Su Yun. You. Li Guang frowned. He wanted to stop Su Yun, but Su Yun shook his head and gestured for him to stop talking. Su Yun drank the first glass of wine and smiled at De Kuan. 76 proof Hung Shui Lao Bai. Brother Kuan, you're good. You have some ability. You can even find this kind of wine. 76 proof Hung Shui Lao Bai is rare even in Huaxia. The price is sky high. De Kuan was stunned. This guy actually knew how to taste wine. He didn't know what kind of wine these were, because he only asked his subordinates to find the strongest wine they could find. As long as it could drink people to death, he would find it all. As for what Lao Bai was, De Kuan had no idea. Following that, Su Yun picked up the second cup of rum. Just like the Hung Shui Lao Bai Gone he drank earlier, the smell was pungent enough, but he still didn't frown and drank it all in one gulp. Granada rum. Good wine. The wine made by pot distillation has a good taste. To be honest, this wine was a bit stronger than Old White of Hung Shui. The degree was even higher. This was something that most people would not be able to endure. This one is probably even more ferocious. Su Yun picked up another glass of wine and drank it like water. Golden ale. Tisk, it's strong. This is the nth time I've drunk this wine. I really miss it. It's said that there's a name for this wine in the United States called Screaming Purple Jesus. Drinking it will make you feel like you're about to die. It's really good. After Su Yun downed 3 glasses of wine, everyone was shocked. Was this guy even human? Li Guang also looked at Su Yun in disbelief. None of them could have guessed that when Su Yun went through the alcohol immunity training, he had suffered almost all the pain in the world. It was also at that time that he drank almost all the alcohol in the world, and the stronger the alcohol, the more he drank. De Kuan did not believe that a person could drink so much alcohol and still stand in front of him. He sneered and waited for Su Yun to fall to the ground. He did not believe that Su Yun could continue drinking. Drink. If he could continue drinking, then he would really admire him. Come, continue. Again. De Kuan widened his eyes. He wanted to see how Su Yun would drink himself to death. Su Yun could not be bothered with him. If he could not even handle this amount of alcohol, then he should not be able to survive. Oh, this is 65% Shifeng wine. Isn't it too soft? Su Yun smiled and finished the 4th glass in his hand. He believed that the old drunkards knew how strong the 65% Shifeng wine was. Most people would not be able to subdue him. However, compared to the golden ale that Su Yun drank just now, it was much softer. The golden ale was more than 90%. Even foreigners who were good at drinking would only drink it mixed with water. Su Yun was drinking pure alcohol. Su Yun picked up the 5th glass and finished it in one gulp. Scotch quadruple distilled whiskey. Good. The 6th glass, Bulgarian Balkan vodka. This is not bad. Brother Kuan, do you want to try it? Oh, 60% Jianan Chun. Not bad, I like this alcohol. Su Yun smiled. This was the 7th glass. He picked up the 8th glass and finished it as if he was gargling. Damn, this 45% Zweiking is also here? Brother Kuan, it seems like you did not find more alcohol. De Kuan's face became more and more ugly. This was already the 8th glass that Su Yun had drunk. However, he was completely fine. It was as if he had drunk 8 glasses of water. Li Guang's originally serious expression finally relaxed. This was too awesome. Su Yun was really fine. He swore that this was the best drinker he had ever seen in his life. He used to think that he could drink a lot, and 2 or 3 catties wouldn't be a problem. But today, he knew that this was the true god of wine. Could it be that alcohol was just like air to Su Yun? Unaffected? At this time, Su Yun had already drunk the 9th glass. Phew! This rush. 75% Qinghe Chu. Brother Kuan, not bad. However, the 10th glass was still Hua Xia's white wine. After Su Yun finished it, he licked his lips. 78% Northwest King wine. Brother Kuan, your subordinates are not bad. I take back what I said just now. Hua Xia's 70% Baijiu is common, but there are not many over 70% Baijiu. He found so many in one go. Su Yun picked up the 11th glass easily. At this time, De Kuan could no longer sit still. He definitely did not believe that a normal person could drink so much. There must be a problem. Could it be that someone tampered with it? He went forward and snatched the glass from Su Yun's hand and drank a mouthful. Just one mouthful. De Kuan was dumbfounded. When Su Yun picked up the glass, he knew that it was the most difficult glass to handle. It was Polish distilled vodka. It was called the water of life by the Westerners. It was the alcohol with the highest alcohol content in the world. It was made from grains and potatoes. After being distilled more than 70 times, it reached 96% alcohol content. It could be said to be the strongest alcohol content in the world. As it had a higher alcohol content than the alcohol used in hospitals and other institutions, it could even be used as a disinfectant in an emergency. Of course, this thing was also very dangerous. It had a low ignition point and was very flammable. One could not smoke while drinking, or it would ignite one's stomach. Usually, people who could drink would only need to take a sip before their lips would instantly become numb and dehydrated. It would feel like someone had punched their stomach. Now, De Kuan had such a reaction. He really did not expect that there was such a powerful alcohol in the world. However, Su Yun drank so many glasses and was really fine. This guy was really not human. Brother Kuan, you are really good. This is the alcohol with the highest alcohol content in the world. You managed to grab it in one go. Awesome. Su Yun smiled. De Kuan's breathing was rapid. He felt very uncomfortable. Fortunately, it was only a small mouthful. Otherwise, he would have been embarrassed today. If he collapsed because of a mouthful of alcohol, how would he have the face to face so many of his subordinates in the future? Su Yun looked at the remaining alcohol. Even if I finish it, it won't matter. Brother Kuan, can you still do it? You collapsed in one mouthful. This act is too realistic. It can't be, right? The great brother De Kuan can't even handle a glass of alcohol. De Kuan wanted to curse now. Who the F***CK made this alcohol? Why is there such alcohol? No. It's F***King alcohol. It has nothing to do with alcohol. It's too ruthless. It's really too ruthless. De Kooin even felt a piercing pain in his temples. It was uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable that he wanted to curse. He wanted to hit someone. When Li Guang saw De Kooin's sorry state, a smile hung on his face. De Kooin, that's enough. Hand him over and we'll forget about today's matter. If you don't hand him over, then continue drinking. You've already accompanied him. You can't put him down after drinking a mouthful, right? That's against the rules. Chapter 21:37. Rules. De Kooin didn't care about the rules anymore. He just wanted to curse. De Kooin, that's enough. Let people off whenever possible. Li Guang said, if you go overboard, I'm afraid even the heavens won't help you. Su Yun didn't mind drinking another cup. He had already drunk so much. He picked up another cup and took a big gulp. A 70-degree smothering donkey. I think this is more suitable for Brother Kooin. One sip and he'll collapse. De Kooin gritted his teeth and stood up with the help of the sofa. Li Guang, you're ruthless. But let me tell you, if you want to take someone away from me, you'll have to pay a price. I don't care. Li Guang said, since I brought 70 or 80 brothers here today, I don't plan on leaving safely. But think about it carefully. This isn't good for me, but it's also not good for you. It's just a lose-lose situation. You're breaking the rule of killing each other. De Kooin braced himself. I don't want to break the rule either. Li Guang shrugged. But you're forcing me to break the rule. Sure, you can take Chen Jianzhong away, but leave Su Yun behind. De Kooin said, he's already humiliated me time and time again, so he has to give me an explanation today. Otherwise, how am I supposed to face my brothers in the future? Su Yun said unhappily, I didn't cause all this trouble for you. De Kooin, you have to be more careful. You're the one who caused all this embarrassment. It has nothing to do with me. If you don't have the ability, don't cause such trouble. Who do you think you are to call me De Kooin? De Kooin said angrily, who do you think you are? You're just a dog under Li Guang. Who do you think you are to call me De Kooin? Su Yun ignored De Kooin's roar. He really couldn't be bothered to call him that. Su Yun felt humiliated calling him by his name. Li Guang didn't want to reason with De Kooin anymore. He took out his phone and made a call outside. Get ready. After the brothers outside received the call, they started to copy their weapons without hesitation. Since you're not willing to hand him over, then don't blame me for doing it myself. Li Guang snapped. De Kooin was not to be outdone. Brothers, attack. The one who dares to mess with me hasn't been born yet. De Kooin's men were all prepared. Some of them had already taken out their guns. This was not a public place, so Su Yun had nothing to worry about. When he saw the first person take out a gun, he made a move. Today, none of them can walk out of here alive. De Kooin was still clamoring. He believed that he had made sufficient preparations and would definitely be able to settle this. Li Guang's skills were not bad. After all, he was a graduate of the Special Police Academy. After graduation, he had been undercover in Huaxia for more than 10 years. After that, he came to Hong Kong and Macau and worked undercover beside Wang Jinjin for another 5 years. Therefore, Li Guang was not unfamiliar with fighting between gangs. At this time, he was very clear on how to protect himself and how to deal with the other party. The other 3 underlings who came in with Li Guang were also capable of fighting 1 against 3. Not only Li Guang knew this, but the entire Hongdong society knew that these 3 guys could fight. However, the one who really changed the situation was Su Yun. Su Yun immediately got rid of the 6 armed men arranged by De Kooin. Su Yun either broke the arms or legs of the other party immediately. He even removed all the magazines from the guns that he snatched. The proficiency of his actions was not something that these gangsters could imagine. Now, Su Yun left them with nothing but surprise. All of the surprise was written all over their faces. Su Yun's movements were very nimble. When Li Guangcai finished off the second person, he had already overturned 6 people with guns. These 6 people were seriously injured and were wailing and rolling on the ground. Su Yun's next move was even faster. Just as one of De Kuen's underlings wanted to sneak up on Li Guang from behind, Su Yun stepped forward and kicked him directly, sending him flying. That guy's whole body slammed into the wall and he spat out a mouthful of blood. This kick was really ruthless. Su Yun really did not show any mercy. As long as he attacked, he would definitely let those guys die willingly. Soon, nearly 30 of De Kuen's underlings were taken down. More than 20 people who rushed over from behind were not spared either. They were all taken down by Su Yun. Of course, Su Yun and the rest were also injured. Li Guang's shoulder was smashed with a baseball bat. One of his underlings' head was also smashed open with an ashtray. His whole face was covered in blood. However, this underling was really a tough guy. He clenched his teeth and did not make a sound. He still stood in front of them. There was another underling who was seriously injured. He did not know how his arm was broken. The white bone pierced through his skin. The pain was really unbearable. His whole face was pale as he sat on the ground, gasping for breath. When Su Yun threw the last underling out of the room, De Kuen's originally groggy head also woke up. He could not believe what had happened in front of his eyes. Su Yun actually took care of them so easily? At this time, the underlings who were guarding the door outside were also defeated. They returned in low spirits. The 70 to 80 underlings that Li Guang had arranged outside rushed in. More than 20 of Li Guang's underlings were injured. There were still more than 50 of them who were fighting a bloody battle. On the other hand, De Kuen's underlings still had more than 10. They could only run or get beaten up. They had no chance to fight back at all. The situation was already one-sided. There was no way De Kuen could continue to play with them. De Kuen, you still don't plan to hand him over? Do you really want me to take action against you? Li Guang said. After all, De Kuen was a reputable person in the underworld. He could bring people to beat up his underlings, but if he really did, it would be hard to say anything in front of Wang Jinjin. If it weren't for the special mission that Su Yun was currently carrying out, Li Guang would have directly crippled De Kuen. However, the problem he was facing now wasn't that simple. He couldn't let Wang Jinjin draw unnecessary attention to him. Therefore, even though Li Guang really wanted to kill De Kuen with a single slash, he still resisted the urge and did not make a move. De Kuen knew that he was completely defeated this time. The person he lost to was not Li Guang, but Su Yun. De Kuen never thought that he would lose to Li Guang. However, this time he really lost. He lost completely. However, De Kuen did not feel that he was useless. If he could have someone like Su Yun by his side, he definitely would not have lost. The person who won completely would be him. He's upstairs. Although De Kuen calmly accepted the fact that he had lost, he still did not want to endure this kind of torture. He did not know what kind of alcohol was left in the glass. He just casually picked up a glass and drank it. Soon, when Li Guang's underlings went upstairs to find Chen Jianzhong, De Kuen was dizzy from drinking a glass of 62 proof Fengjiu. Drinking half a liter of strong alcohol in one gulp was too suicidal. After that, De Kuen did not know how Li Guang and his underlings took him away. Li Guang also did not want to waste time on De Kuen. He quickly signaled his uninjured underlings to send the injured to the hospital. Meanwhile, he continued to go to Hong Kong and Macau Bank with Chen Jianzhong to settle the money issue. Su Yun was not in a hurry to leave. When he attacked De Kuen's closest underling, this guy was probably the one with the lightest injuries. However, he was now lying in the corner pretending to be dead. When Li Guang was about to call Su Yun to leave, Su Yun signaled him to wait. He still had something to ask that guy. While Li Guang was puzzled and confused, Su Yun walked to the guy who was pretending to be dead. Suddenly, he stretched out his leg and stepped on the guy's crotch. Chapter 21:38. The guy who pretended to be dead screamed and sat up while holding his crotch. He looked at Su Yun in horror, as if he was afraid that Su Yun would kill him. Brother. Brother. Stop hitting me. I'm just following orders. If I knew you were so ruthless, I wouldn't have the guts to offend you. The guy who pretended to be dead had a pitiful look on his face. He didn't have the arrogance that he usually had when he followed behind Dakuan. Su Yun said impatiently, "Don't King talk nonsense with me. Yesterday at the bar, you pretended to be dead. After you got hit, you went to the side to hide. I really don't know if Dakuan is too blind to think so highly of you." Yes. Brother, I'm a coward. Please. I beg you, let me go. The guy who pretended to be dead became more pitiful as he spoke. I'm just trying to make a living. Today, you think you can avenge your humiliation and teach me a lesson just because you have 6 guns? Su Yun. Don't think that I don't remember your face. In the car at the Hong Kong and Macau Bank this morning, you were sitting in the back row. The person who aimed at me in the front passenger seat was also arranged by you, right? Brother. It wasn't arranged by me. I didn't have a choice. It was all arranged by Dakuan. If I didn't do as he wanted, he definitely wouldn't let me go. The guy who pretended to be dead became more pitiful as he spoke. He almost used the classic line, "There's an 80-year-old mother and an 8-month-old baby." Su Yun wasn't interested in paying attention to him. I just want to ask you one thing. Tell me clearly. I'll give you a way out. If you don't tell me clearly, then don't blame me. The things that I can do are definitely more serious than you think. The guy was stunned. He looked at Su Yun blankly and nodded vigorously. He didn't have any intention to resist at all. Has Fatty Tian's wife and child been harmed by you all? Su Yun's brows were tightly knitted together. Towards these heartless fellows, he really wished he could cut them into 1,000 pieces right now. But everything was for the sake of the mission, so he could only endure it. That guy widened his eyes and stared at Su Yun motionlessly. It seemed like he didn't know how to answer, or he didn't want to answer, or he didn't dare to answer. This moment was really hard for him to bear. Su Yun didn't waste time talking to him. He punched the ground. He forcefully smashed a fist-sized hole in the marble on the ground. The marble that was crushed into powder by Su Yun was really a fish in the pond. It was really too pitiful. Which do you think is harder, your head or marble? Su Yun. Don't waste my time. That guy's mouth twitched and he was really about to cry. It was all Dakuan's orders. Dakuan wanted to do that. I really don't have the guts to harm Brother Tion's family. This is the club's rule. I know, but if Dakuan wants to do something, none of us can stop him. Is there no hope for them? Su Yun's expression became uglier and uglier. That guy was scared silly by Su Yun's fist and said, Last night before going to the bar, I had already buried them. Su Yun gritted his teeth. It had been 20 hours. Even a god couldn't save them. Li Guang, who was standing at the side, wanted to pick up a gun and shoot this guy on the spot. Although Fatty Huang had done many bad things, it had nothing to do with his family. Moreover, there were innocent children. Dakuan, that bastard, was really a beast. He actually did such a thing. He really couldn't tolerate it. Where did you bury them? Su Yun was calmer than Li Guang at this time, because he knew that what had happened couldn't be changed. The dead couldn't be revived. No matter what he did, it was impossible to change this reality. 9 Dragon Mountain. Northwest of the peak. The guy who pretended to be dead had said all that he needed to say. He looked at Su Yun with a pleading face, hoping that Su Yun would spare him. In the end, Su Yun only gave him a light snort and gave him a slap. The guy who pretended to be dead only felt that his entire face was completely smashed. Before his teeth flew out, he had already fainted. This slap was very heavy, enough to break the guy's entire face into 7 or 8 pieces. However, this wasn't enough to redeem anything, nor was it enough to comfort Fatty Tion's wife and children. Su Yun could only vent his emotions through this kind of catharsis. There's no hope. Li Guang closed his eyes tightly. He blamed himself. As a police officer, his self-blame was a kind of torture from the bottom of his heart. Although this matter had nothing to do with him and wasn't something he could control, he still felt extremely guilty. There was no other reason other than that he was a police officer. Su Yun nodded. Brother Guang, find a few brothers to look for the body and inform Fatty Tian. Although the evidence was conclusive that De Kuan killed the people, what could they do? They couldn't do anything. They couldn't expose their identities because of something that had already happened. If they sent De Kuan to court, Wang Jinjin would definitely be angry. This was a matter of the society. This kind of matter could only be solved internally in the society. If they sent De Kuan to court because of this matter, Wang Jinjin would definitely be suspicious. This was because only undercover police officers would do such a thing. His real brothers would never do such a thing. After Su Yun and Li Guang left with heavy hearts, Li Guang's face didn't show any expression. He didn't know how to talk about this matter. After waking up, Fatty Tian almost cried and begged him to help him save his wife and children. But now, there was no chance. Everything was too late. Li Guang didn't have that kind of heaven-defying ability to change reality. No one had that kind of heaven-defying ability to change reality. The truth was the truth. Brother Guang, if it was anyone else, it wouldn't be easy to talk about this. Su Yun said, but if you tell Fatty Tian, at least it can alleviate his grief and anger. It can let him control his emotions and not do stupid things. If he can't be controlled and really fights to the death with De Kuan, it won't do him any good. Li Guang nodded. He also knew this. The possibility of Fatty Tian being able to defeat De Kuan was almost zero, even if a miracle happened. He killed De Kuan. Wang Jinjin wouldn't forgive Fatty Tian's impulsiveness. So no matter what, once Fatty Tian couldn't control his emotions, he would definitely be in trouble. I'll try to let him control his emotions. Li Guang said, if he really can't control himself, even if I have to use force, I won't let him die. Su Yun was relieved. This was their only way now. Other than that, there was no other way. There was no other way. Phew. Su Yun looked up at the sky. In the hands of these lawless and evil people, how many innocent lives couldn't be comforted? As long as he could completely eliminate Wang Jinjin, everything would be completely settled. Yes, he had to remember his mission. He couldn't be distracted by other things. Sooner or later, he would personally destroy De Kuan and let him know that there were still laws in this world. Sooner or later, he would expose everything about Wang Jinjin and let the government give him a bullet to eat. He would completely clean up the chaos in Hong Kong and Macau. This city had 50 years of autonomy, but only 20 years had passed. There was still a long way to go for them to go. Su Yun took a deep breath and emphasized to himself 3 more times that he had to stay clear-headed. Stay awake. Stay awake. Being awake was his greatest weapon. Chapter 2139. Just as Li Guang had expected, Fatty Tian was stunned when he found out about this. After he came to his senses, Fatty Tian tore off the 4 tube on the back of his hand. He was going to take revenge now. Fatty, sit down and listen to me. Calm down. Li Guang tried his best to pacify Fatty Tian. Things have already happened. You can't start anew no matter what you do. What you need now is to calm down. Calm down. Do you understand? If your wife and child were killed by De Kuan, would you be able to calm down? There was nothing in Fatty Tian's eyes. There was only hatred and hatred left in his heart. Li Guang knew that Fatty Tian wouldn't accept it so easily. I understand you. I know you're feeling terrible now, but you can't do that. You have to endure. A real man knows when to yield and when to endure. Fatty Tian pushed away Li Guang's hands that were pressing down on his shoulders. I'll endure? Li Guang. Ask yourself, how many people in the Hongdong society can endure more than me? How many people are more flexible than I? Fatty Tian. Li Guang really couldn't answer Fatty Tian's question. In the entire Hongdong society, the only person who could endure more than Fatty Tian was probably Li Guang himself. Moreover, what he endured wasn't these suffocating things. I, the one surnamed Tian, have already endured enough. But I can't tolerate what that bastard De Kuan did. He can do whatever he wants to me. I can tolerate him like a dog with its tail between its legs. Fatty Tian became more and more agitated. But he's too much. He killed my entire family. How can I tolerate that? Li Guang didn't feel good in his heart. Forcing Fatty Tian to endure at this time was indeed something that Fatty Tian couldn't accept. But if you go to De Kuan now, you won't be able to solve any problems. Li Guang said. You don't have as many people as him. You don't have as much power as him. What do you have to challenge him? Have you ever thought that since De Kuan dared to do such a thing, he's not afraid of you finding trouble with him? If anything happens to you, who will avenge your wife and child in the future? Fatty Tian clenched his fists. He wanted revenge, even if he had to die. Why don't you believe me? I don't have enough people. Can't you lend me some? I must kill De Kuan with my own hands. Take his head as a sacrifice to my wife and child. If you want to borrow people, I'll give you as many as you want. Li Guang said, but don't you know that De Kuan's monthly harvest is so good? If you kill him, how much money will boss lose? Do you think boss would care about the death of your wife or the loss of De Kuan's finances? Su Yun also tried to persuade him, boss cares more about his economic benefits. If you kill De Kuan and cause him economic losses, he will definitely not forgive you. I don't care. As long as I can kill De Kuan, even if boss wants me to die, I don't care. Fatty Tian said. His mind was filled with hatred. As long as I can kill De Kuan, even if boss wants me to die, I don't care. If you die, what's the point of taking revenge? Do you think your wife and children will be comforted if they know about this in the netherworld? Li Guang had no choice but to take action. He slapped Fatty Tian's fat face hard, hoping to wake him up. After being in a daze for a long time, Fatty Tian's face was filled with confusion and tears. Brother Guang. I really don't know what I should do. Brother Guang. I beg you to help me. I will definitely not let De Kuan live comfortably. Li Guang said, don't worry. Sooner or later, De Kuan will pay for everything he has done. I swear, I will definitely make De Kuan die a horrible death. I will definitely not let him have a good ending. Su Yun said indifferently, as long as the opportunity is right, I will bring De Kuan's head to you with just a word from Brother Guang. Fatty Tian looked at Su Yun and Li Guang gratefully. He had placed all his hopes on these two people. These two people were his last hope. Su Yun. I'm counting on you. Fatty Tian cried bitterly. As long as you can help me take revenge, I will do anything for you for the rest of my life. I, Fatty Tian, will be at your and Brother Guang's disposal in the future. Brother Tian, I will. Su Yun said, I have never gone back on my promises to others. I believe that Brother Guang is also someone who will not go back on his words. Fatty Tian nodded his head vigorously and frantically. Li Guang called the nurse over and gave Fatty Tian another injection. Li Guang said, if you want to be able to help earlier, then get the injection and be discharged earlier. I will listen to everything you say. Fatty Tian nodded. Don't worry about anything else. Leave everything to me. Once I find them, corpses, I will definitely inform you immediately. Li Guang said, have a good rest first. We will not disturb your rest. After Su Yun and Li Guang left the hospital, their hearts were so heavy that it was difficult for them to accept it. I suddenly feel like drinking. Brother, your alcohol tolerance is so good. Accompany me for a drink or two. Li Guang said, let's go to your place. I have good wine in the car. Su Yun nodded. Let's go. Li Guang instructed two of his men to buy some dishes to go with the wine and then went to find them with the wine. He left with Su Yun first. When Su Yun returned to the apartment, he remembered that his key was still in Lillian's house. He knocked on the door to look for the key, but Lillian was not at home. After making a phone call, he found out that Su Yun's key was on the coffee table in her house. Su Yun could get the key under the floor mat and open the door to get it. Li Guang was very surprised. How could Su Yun's key be in Lillian's house? Did you sleep in Lillian's house yesterday? No, she wanted to thank me today for yesterday's matter, so she invited me for breakfast. That's why I came. Su Yun said, Brother Guang, don't think too much. You can't say this casually. Ha ha ha, I definitely won't say it casually. Li Guang said, Kid, you are good. Brother Guang, you and I both know that Lillian is actually a good girl. Don't ruin her reputation. Su Yun smiled and went back to his apartment with Li Guang. When the two entered the door, the first thing Li Guang saw was the girl's underwear floating on the balcony opposite the door. He was dumbfounded. He pointed and looked at Su Yun, as if he wanted Su Yun to give him an explanation. Su Yun really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He left the key to the house to let Lillian take away the clothes, but Lillian didn't take it. This was great. Li Guang must have misunderstood after seeing it. Li Guang really misunderstood. He smiled and said, Okay, don't explain. I can understand. Men and women are all dry wood and raging fire. Brother Guang, I'm really not as casual as you think. He knew Su Yun. On the first day he arrived, Li Guang took him to the sauna center to spend the night. It was just to let outsiders see that Su Yun's behavior was definitely not something a gentleman would do. But now it was different. Su Yun couldn't avoid some special situations. Lillian is quite good. Li Guang smiled. But don't worry, I can understand. As long as it is consensual, even if you don't take responsibility in the future, everyone knows. So, you don't have to have any psychological burden. Hong Kong and Macau are more open than inland. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that Li Guang completely misunderstood that he had slept with Lillian because of the underwear. But there was nothing to explain. If Li Guang's underling heard it, he would think that he was not the kind of person who dared to take responsibility for his actions. Soon, Li Guang's underling bought a lot of takeout and came here with wine. There were 20 types of takeout dishes, from spicy to light. There was everything. The simple dish was cucumber with garlic sauce, and the complex dish was crab with white sauce and yellow fish. This dish is very complicated to make. Li Guang pointed at the crab with white sauce and yellow fish and said to Su Yun, Quick, try it, try it. You will definitely praise it. Chapter 2140. This white sauce crab roe silverfish was a new dish developed by a master chef based on the white sauce silverfish and the purple crab roe silverfish. Therefore, Su Yun was surprised to be able to eat such a dish in Hong Kong and Macau. The silverfish was as white as jade, and the crab roe was orange-red. The silverfish had crab roe floating on top, and the orange-red color was crystal clear and smooth. It tasted delicious and mellow. Su Yun was full of praise after tasting it. It was no different from the one he had eaten in a big hotel in Beijing and Tianjin. But this could be bought from takeout. He really didn't know which fast food restaurant's chef made it. It was really a waste of talent. There are no other benefits in Hong Kong and Macau, but the food here is indeed better than the mainland, Su Yun said. Li Guang looked at Su Yun and didn't reply to Su Yun's words. Instead, he signaled for his underlings to pour wine for everyone to sit down and have a drink. Su Yun realized that he had said something wrong. He was a foreign assassin. How could he have studied the mainland's food? Su Yun smiled as he drank the wine and began to smooth things over. Back then, when I first went to the mainland to do some work, I ordered takeout from the hotel. It was basically chopped meat and stuffed it into pancakes. It was called something like a sandwich. There were also pancakes with an egg on top and something called fruit. They were all snacks like that. That must be because you are not familiar with Huaxia, so you didn't find the right place. Li Guang said. If you find the right place, it will definitely be a world of delicious food. If you have the chance, you should go and read Huaxia. It's all about food. Then it should be called World of Foodies, Su Yun said as he picked up the wine glass and smoothly wiped away the slip. After drinking 2 glasses of wine, Li Guang's mood became less heavy. For him, the death of Fatty Tian's wife and child was a big blow. He even thought that if they didn't support Fatty Tian's marriage 5 years ago, they wouldn't be in such a miserable state today. Wang Jinjin. When will this old fox reveal something that can give him a fatal blow? To be honest, Li Guang had had enough of this undercover life. This job was not meant for humans. Li Guang was really worried that one day, he would get used to this kind of identity as the big brother of a club. At that time, would he still be considered a spy, or would he be reluctant to part with this kind of life? People are always greedy. As an undercover police officer, Li Guang could not even exchange his life for a salary of $10,000 a month. Even though he was still the boss of the gang, he could call the wind and summon the rain. Millions of dollars were nothing in his eyes. There was a particularly scary thing in the human heart called comparison. Once there was a comparison, there would be dissatisfaction and anger. Li Guang didn't know who gave him the motivation to stick to his principles again and again. He also didn't know if he could still stick to his principles after repeating them again and again. To be honest, if it weren't for the arrival of Su Yun, if it weren't for the difficulty of this mission, Li Guang really felt that he couldn't do it anymore. All these years, in order to better hide his identity as a spy, he had done many things that only the most vicious people would do. He oppressed the commoners and even killed his own undercover brothers when he was forced to do so. All of this was for the sake of the greater good. Li Guang didn't know where he should go from now on. Although the organization had told him time and time again that everything he did was right and that it was all for the sake of the ultimate victory, Li Guang still didn't know what to do. But Li Guang still couldn't determine whether he was a human or a demon. He really hoped that Su Yun could immediately solve Wang Jinjin's problem. That way, he could return to his hometown with glory and not live with an identity that he hated. Su Yun brother, Big Brother has something to say to you. Li Guang patted Su Yun's shoulder. I've been under a lot of pressure recently. To have you help me, I really want to thank you. Big Brother wants to thank you very much. Su Yun knew what Li Guang meant. Brother Guang, you drank too much. I should be the one thanking you for taking me in. If you didn't take me in, I wouldn't even know where I would be now. Brother, you are a capable person. You can make a living wherever you go, Li Guang said. But you are willing to follow Big Brother. That means you think highly of Big Brother. You believe in Big Brother. Big Brother will also give you a guarantee today. I will definitely not let you suffer any losses. Even if I, Li Guang, have to pay a high price, I will let you straighten your back in Hongdong Group. Su Yun smiled. Brother Guang, you need to straighten your back. If I were a doe, even if you helped me, I wouldn't be able to stand up. Ha ha ha. Brother, if you were a doe, then no one in this world would dare to call themselves Zhuge Liang. After saying that, Li Guang raised his wine glass. Come. Drink with Big Brother. Let's go. Su Yun said. They drank until 10 p.m. Li Guang left Su Yun's house with the help of his 2 brothers. About half an hour later, Lillian arrived at Su Yun's house. Why are you here at this time? Su Yun was startled. This should be the time when Lillian was working at the lawn bar. As a beauty who attracted business at the bar, it didn't make sense for her to not be at work. Yesterday, De Kuan went to the bar to cause trouble. Brother Guang told me not to go to the bar for the next few days. He was worried that something would happen. Lillian said, so I took a few days off. Then you should rest at home. Su Yun said. I also want to rest well, but I'm already used to it. I can't sleep at this time. Lillian said, I'm here to get my clothes. Actually, I came up just now. When I was about to knock on the door, I heard Brother Guang talking to you inside, so I went back. Su Yun smiled. You're quite sensible. Do you know how many times I came? I came up 3 times. This time, I knocked on the door when I heard no one. Lillian said, Come in. Su Yun gestured for Lillian to enter the house. When Lillian entered the house, she saw that her clothes were gone. She looked at Su Yun. You still say you're not a pervert. Do you need to clean up a girl's clothes? Do you think I want to? Su Yun, when I got home today, Brother Guang saw it and even misunderstood me. Of course, I had to put away your clothes before his brothers arrived. Otherwise, they would think that I did something to you. Lillian blushed. No way. Brother Guang saw it? Nonsense. Su Yun, I told you to come and get it earlier, but you didn't. How would I know that Brother Guang would suddenly come here to drink? Lillian said, By the way, why did Brother Guang want to drink here today? After saying that, Lillian looked at the messy wine bottles in the room. There were so many. Why did you drink so much? Did something happen? Lillian frowned and said, It can't be because of what happened to me yesterday, right? No. Su Yun, Dekuan killed Fatty Tian's wife and son, and buried them alive. Lillian's mouth opened wide in shock. Wasn't this too terrifying? What exactly happened? Why did this happen? Dekuan was really inhumane. He could even do such a cruel thing. Brother Guang was right to not let you go to work for the time being. Su Yun, Dekuan, that bastard, is really inhumane. Why? Lillian said, They're all people from Hongdong society. Why did this happen? Su Yun sighed. Because Dekuan is a mad dog. Chapter 2141. Su Yun smiled helplessly. Not everyone who is in a gang will abide by the rules. Not everyone who is in a gang will be loyal. It's just like how not all businessmen pay attention to integrity. Not all police officers are good people. Lillian understood. Although they were all brothers in the same gang, there were also open struggles and hidden conflicts between them. These things were unavoidable, and they could not be more normal. Then how does Brother Guang plan to deal with Dekuan? Since Dekuan has already reached out to Fatty Tian, then it's definitely possible that he will reach out to the other members of the Hongdong gang. It's also possible that he will find trouble with Brother Guang. This is unavoidable. No matter when Dekuan wants to find trouble with us, we won't give way to him. Su Yun, Dekuan hasn't been able to take advantage of us these few times. It would be best if he has some self-awareness and knows what it means to retreat in the face of difficulties. If he doesn't even know this, then there's nothing we can do. After Su Yun finished speaking, he narrowed his eyes and remained silent. He didn't know if this was an opportunity that belonged to him. Dekuan's arrogance had already caused everyone to be dissatisfied. Su Yun guessed that even Wang Jinjin might be unhappy with Dekuan's unscrupulousness. If Wang Jinjin showed signs of this, Su Yun would be able to seize the opportunity to give Dekuan a fatal blow. As long as Dekuan was dealt with and Su Yun could be promoted through solving Dekuan's problem, that would be the most beneficial result for Su Yun. Not only could he show his strength, but he could also gain Wang Jinjin's trust. However, this kind of opportunity was definitely not many. Su Yun was also very clear about the risks. If he misjudged Wang Jinjin's mentality, or if Wang Jinjin couldn't leave his trust in Dekuan, then Su Yun would be shooting himself in the foot. Su Yun thought for a long time, but he couldn't come to a conclusion now. Now that things had come to this, he could only take one step at a time. In the face of such a situation, the only thing Su Yun could do was to endure and wait. In such a short period of time, Su Yun had tasted the torment of this kind of endurance. Now, he really admired Li Guang, the kind of admiration that rose from his heart. For Li Guang to be able to be a spy for so many years, not to mention whether his personal ability was good or not, just the strength of his heart was something that ordinary people couldn't achieve. This type of person was born to be a spy. Everyone had their own talents, and it was the same in any industry. Among the police, some were good at deductions, some were good at arresting, some were good at strategizing, some were good at commanding, and some were good at being undercover. What are you thinking about? Lillian said a few words to Su Yun. Seeing that Su Yun did not respond, she asked. Su Yun came to his senses and shook his head. It's nothing. I just feel that the Hong Kong and Macau circle is not as easy as I thought. Of course, Lillian said. Lillian said, the Hongdong Society stall is too big. Every region has its own person in charge. Although these people all listen to Wang Jinjin, everyone's heart is selfish. They all have their own selfish desires and greed. This was an unavoidable problem. After all, these people came out to do this for the sake of profit. Profit was their biggest motivation. Su Yun nodded. Yes. This is a problem of human nature. So you don't need to think so much. Just be yourself. I believe you can do it. Lillian said, because you are like Brother Guang, a person with principles. The boss of the Hongdong Society likes people with principles like you the most. As for De Kuen, it's because he is ruthless enough and can work hard enough that he can get more harvests. However, he definitely won't be liked. Su Yun thought so too. De Kuen's personality was too eye-catching. Moreover, he liked to be in the limelight. He liked to flaunt his prowess to the whole world when he did something. How could Wang Jinjin like such a person? He wouldn't like such a person. Such a person would only bring him endless trouble. Moreover, once De Kuen's name became the most popular person among the new generation of Hong Kong and Macau gangsters, who would know about Wang Jinjin? One had to know that when Wang Jinjin's gang members were still gangsters, they joined the Hongdong Society because of Wang Jinjin's name and became members of the Hongdong Society. And now, those unorganized and undisciplined gangsters on the streets talked about De Kuen the most. Without exception, they all wanted to be like De Kuen, because De Kuen was arrogant and impressive enough. Therefore, De Kuen was the template for too many young people. However, these young people who regarded De Kuen as their idol didn't know that De Kuen had never been in the limelight when he was their age and situation. He was a very quiet person. He knew that people who were quiet could live longer. For example, when De Kuen first joined the Hongdong Society, he was just a lackey. Every time he fought, he would never walk in front. He would use his own way to avoid danger. When the situation was stable, he would come out to attack people. Therefore, he wouldn't get hurt every time. Many people thought that he could fight, so no one hurt him. However, that wasn't the case. De Kuen wasn't the kind of person who could fight. He could hide and hide. When De Kuen truly became Wang Jinjin's trusted aide, it was also because of a large-scale battle. At that time, the Hongdong Society and the Eastern Star Society were on par with each other. After a large-scale conflict, the two sides fought fiercely. At that time, De Kuen realized that things were too dangerous and there was no chance of winning. Therefore, before the situation became one-sided, he pretended to be injured and withdrew from the battle. However, in the end, the two sides really fought to the last person. The last person standing was Chen Ba, the best fighter in the Eastern Star Society. Chen Ba had already been stabbed several times at that time, but he was the only one standing. The fact that he was still standing represented the Eastern Star Society's victory. In the future, the Eastern Star Society would always be able to ride on the Hongdong Society's head and pea. At that moment, De Kuen made his move. He wasn't injured, so his movements were agile. In addition, his sudden sneak attack didn't give Chen Ba a chance to react at all. Chen Ba was killed in an instant. Chen Ba didn't even know who had set him up when he died. De Kuen became famous in one battle, establishing the foundation for the Hongdong Society to suppress the Eastern Star Society in Hong Kong and Macau. Then, as things developed step by step, the Eastern Star Society was suppressed by the Hongdong Society until they could no longer rise. Because of this incident, many people said that De Kuen was the god of war. It was also at that time that Wang Jinjin promoted De Kuen to the Big Brother and gave him his own territory and sphere of influence. As time passed day by day, De Kuen liked the feeling of being a big brother day by day. He liked the feeling of everyone bowing to him when they saw him. He began to show his arrogance crazily. The more arrogant De Kuen was, the less people dared to provoke him. After all, in the eyes of too many people, he was a ruthless person who could kill the #1 fighter of the Eastern Star Society, Chen Ba. In this way, De Kuan became a person who influenced the underage and young gangsters in Hong Kong and Macau. In the eyes of those young people, he was definitely a mythical existence. They absolutely couldn't disturb or provoke him. This was De Kuan's story. However, no one could give a reasonable answer to what kind of person he was. De Kuan also never thought about his world and what his future would be like. It was Hong Kong and Macau that made De Kuan, and it was also the Hongdong society that made De Kuan. When De Kuan enjoyed this kind of arrogance addiction, he wasn't far away from his unlucky days. This was a conclusion. This was also the reason why Wang Jinjin wouldn't be so arrogant even if he could cover the sky with one hand in Hong Kong and Macau. Chapter 2142. After the storm caused by Chen Jianzhong's death, De Kuan had indeed calmed down. This time he had suffered a great loss. So many of his brothers had been sent to the hospital. He really did not have the capital to be arrogant anymore. However, Li Guang was the same. After this incident, he had more or less suffered a lot of losses. More than 20 of his brothers were seriously injured and sent to the hospital. The news of both sides quickly spread. Many of the big brothers in the Hongdong society had a lot of opinions about De Kuan's actions. There was no doubt that this matter was De Kuan's fault. Moreover, Fatty Tian's family was harmed, so the blame was also pointed at De Kuan. De Kuan dared to attack the family of his own people. This was an unforgivable thing for the big brothers in the society. After all, they were all people with wives and children. They were also worried that one day, they would not get along with De Kuan and implicate their families. This was because De Kuan did not have such concerns. He only had one mother, and his eyes were not very good. De Kuan was not the kind of person who was filial. He only spent money to hire a girl to help him take care of his mother. He did not care about anything else and just gave his family a fixed amount of money every month. Although De Kuan was arrogant and disdainful, his mother was a kind person. In the eyes of the neighbors, she was a very respected elder. Many people did not believe that such a mother could raise such a son. In fact, De Kuan was affected because of his dead father. Everyone who knew De Kuan's family knew that De Kuan's father had a few labels that could never be removed: alcohol, gambling, drug abuse. When De Kuan was 12 years old, his father suddenly died of a drug overdose. At that time, he joined the society to make a living. Because De Kuan looked mature, when he said that he was 16 years old, no one did not believe him. In reality, De Kuan was only 25 years old. Many people thought that he was 30 years old. De Kuan would not do things that he should not do just because he was worried about his mother's safety. Just this point alone would make many bosses helpless. No one knew how to deal with the threat that De Kuan brought. Naturally, the dissatisfaction in their hearts increased and they became more and more annoyed. When Wang Jinjin appeared in Hong Kong and Macau again, someone came looking for him on the same day. Cheng Feng was an elder of the Hongdong society. Even if he came late at night, Wang Jinjin would not reject him. I heard that something happened. Wang Jinjin knew the reason why Cheng Feng had come to see him. After he sat down and had someone serve tea, he went straight to the point. "Boss, you've heard about it." Cheng Feng said, "De Kuan is really going overboard now." "That's right. It's indeed a little too much." Wang Jinjin nodded. He still hasn't figured out what kind of deep hatred there is between him and Fatty Tian. They actually want to bury Fatty Tian's wife and son alive. Cheng Feng said, "There is no direct conflict between De Kuan and Fatty Tian. The main conflict lies with Li Guang." "What does this matter have to do with Li Guang?" Wang Jinjin asked. "In the club, Li Guang is highly regarded. This is something that everyone knows." "I understand." Boss saw that Li Guang was a principled person, so he assigned the richest area in Hong Kong and Macau to Li Guang. "It's because Li Guang is trustworthy." Cheng Feng said, "That's why De Kuan is jealous." Wang Jinjin lit up a cigar. "What's there to be jealous of De Kuan? His territory is also a very good place. In short, it's many times better than Fatty Tian. Otherwise, how could he have such a good harvest in front of me? Cheng Feng said, Boss, he doesn't think so. Dakuan has always thought that the good harvest is because he's capable and ruthless enough. This is something that has to be said. Even if it's the same territory, if Dakuan manages it, the harvest will definitely be higher than if it's given to anyone else. That's right. Wang Jinjin said, because Dakuan doesn't care about the consequences. Boss, since you know that too, then you should know even more clearly what Dakuan wants to do. Cheng Feng said, Dakuan doesn't just want these things. He also wants a bigger territory. He wants Li Guang's territory. Wang Jinjin frowned. That has nothing to do with Fatty Tian, right? It's a pity that Fatty Tian is unlucky because Fatty Tian supports Li Guang in many things. Cheng Feng said, many times, Li Guang has helped Fatty Tian unconditionally when it comes to things that Fatty Tian can't handle. That's why he has always been very close to Li Guang. Dakuan made a move on Fatty Tian to make an example out of him and let Li Guang see if Dakuan dares to touch him. Wang Jinjin nodded. Then what's the situation of the conflict between Dakuan and Li Guang? This matter is even more complicated. Cheng Feng said, but I brought him here. Let him explain it to you. All right. Wang Jinjin said. Cheng Feng turned around and gestured for his subordinates to bring Chen Jianzhong over. Ever since Chen Jianzhong was involved in this matter, he had lost a lot of weight. Every day, he was on tenterhooks, worried that Dakuan would take revenge. Because of this matter, Chen Jianzhong hid in other places. However, he didn't expect that he would be caught by Cheng Feng instead of being harassed by Dakuan. Speak. Cheng Feng said, I promised you that I would only ask you to explain the situation. I definitely won't do anything else to you. Chen Jianzhong nodded carefully and told Wang Jinjin the whole story. He didn't return the money that he received, and some other things were instructed by Dakuan. However, he didn't leave a single cent of the money that he should return. Wang Jinjin understood that the reason why Li Guang's harvest was so much less this time was all because of this fellow. Only by doing this would Dakuan be able to surpass Li Guang's harvest for the first time. Only then would he be able to pay more attention to his Dakuan and not leave all the good things to Li Guang. Wang Jinjin smiled. Dakuan, this fellow, was really scheming. He could even arrange such a thing. All of this was planned and premeditated. That was why this matter was blown out of proportion. Guang knows about this now, right? Wang Jinjin asked. Cheng Feng nodded. Guang isn't a fool. He naturally knows Dakuan's arrangements. That's why they had a conflict at the clubhouse 2 days ago. That conflict caused Dakuan to suffer heavy losses. It has calmed down a lot now, but there are still many big brothers who are worried that since Dakuan can do such a thing to Fatty Tian, it's inevitable that he will do the same to them in the future. Wang Jinjin's attention was completely focused on the first half of the sentence. Why did Dakuan suffer such heavy losses in the conflict between Guang and Dakuan? If I remember correctly, Dakuan should be the one with the most subordinates among all of you, right? That's right. Cheng Feng said, none of us dare to believe that Dakuan would actually lose so badly, but this is the truth. I've asked around. The reason why Guang could win so easily was all because of that underling called Su Yun. At that time, Dakuan's people even prepared guns, but they couldn't do anything to Su Yun. Wang Jinjin frowned. He had an impression of Su Yun. During the first regular meeting, he fought back against Dakuan as an underling. How could Wang Jinjin not study such a person with such a character? Cheng Feng said, that kid is a talent. No wonder Guang treats him like his own brother. Yes, he is indeed a talent. Wang Jinjin said, actually, even if you didn't come looking for me today, I would have called you. All right, I know about this matter. Sorry for making you come all the way here. Boss, this is all part of my job. Cheng Feng said, there are some things that you still need to understand in your heart. You understand what I mean? Wang Jinjin nodded. Of course, he knew what Cheng Feng was talking about. In that case, I'll take my leave first, boss. I won't disturb your rest. After Cheng Feng finished speaking, he got up and prepared to leave with Chen Jianzhong. Chen Jianzhong let out a deep breath. He was really scared to death. Wang Jinjin didn't get up. He just waved his hand and gestured to the servant. "Send the guest out." Chapter 21:43. Wang Jinjin sat in the room filled with cigars and pondered for a long time. His mind was filled with De Kuan. De Kuan was definitely a very important chess piece for Wang Jinjin. With a mad dog like De Kuan in the Hongdong society who dared to bite anyone, it had a considerable impact on the other societies outside. Although Wang Jinjin could basically cover the sky with one hand in Hong Kong and Macau, it was impossible for him to get rid of all the other societies. If that was the case, the entire police force in Hong Kong and Macau would point their spears at Wang Jinjin. Therefore, Wang Jinjin also needed the other societies in Hong Kong and Macau to help him divert the police's attention. However, this needed to be controlled. He couldn't let these societies have no influence, but he also couldn't let these societies have the courage to challenge him. This was what Wang Jinjin needed now. This was also the reason why Wang Jinjin needed De Kuan. De Kuan could very well control this situation, so even if De Kuan did things that made him feel disgusted, he would choose to turn a blind eye. Even if it was too much, Wang Jinjin could consider the actual situation and give De Kuan a certain amount of understanding. However, Wang Jinjin seemed to have indulged De Kuan a little too much these years. De Kuan became more and more indifferent. There were even many times when De Kuan chose to ignore his words. This was definitely something that Wang Jinjin couldn't tolerate. As time passed, De Kuan became even more severe. Just like the previous regular meeting, De Kuan actually took out a pistol in front of him. This was something that had never happened in the entire Hongdong society. However, De Kuan had the best harvest among all the bosses this time, but his territory wasn't the best. He could be so arrogant because Wang Jinjin gave him face. However, he had personally said during the regular meeting that no one was to cause any trouble while he was away. However, De Kuan didn't care about this at all. Not only did De Kuan ignore it, but he also attacked Fatty Huang's family and violated the society's taboo. He even fought with Li Guang, causing close to 100 people from both sides to be hospitalized. This matter had an impact on the entire Hongdong society, and the impact was very great. If it wasn't for De Kuan's crime, Wang Jinjin would have been furious long ago. However, this matter was committed by De Kuan. Wang Jinjin definitely had his own thoughts on whether he should deal with it accordingly. He definitely had to deal with this matter. Moreover, he had to deal with this matter beautifully. Right now, De Kuan's actions had caused everyone in the club to feel uneasy. Wang Jinjin knew that when it was time to indulge, he would indulge, but when it was time to control, he had to control himself. If he gave De Kuan a way out this time, Wang Jinjin didn't dare to imagine what De Kuan would do in the future. Perhaps one day in the future, De Kuan would really dare to take out a gun and point it directly at Wang Jinjin's head. Others might not be able to do such a thing, but De Kuan could definitely do it. Wang Jinjin was a little hurt. No matter what, De Kuan was his capable subordinate after all. Losing a capable subordinate like this was definitely not a good thing for the Hongdong society. There was another reason why Wang Jinjin had this idea. That's right, it was Su Yun. Wang Jinjin found it hard to imagine how Su Yun could reverse a situation that even Li Guang couldn't reverse. This was not a simple matter. Most of the time, such people relied on opportunistic means and luck to achieve their goals. But what did Su Yun rely on? Right now, Wang Jinjin's interest in Su Yun was much greater than before. He suddenly felt that this matter could be handed over to Su Yun to deal with. If Su Yun handled it well, even if De Kuan was killed, there would still be someone who could support De Kuan after he collapsed. However, whether Su Yun had this ability, Wang Jinjin couldn't make a judgment. After all, he had only met Su Yun once. There were many brothers in the Hongdong society who could fight, and there were even more powerful experts around him. However, it was impossible for someone who only had martial arts to become a big brother. To become a big brother, one needed brains. Wang Jinjin could confirm Su Yun's martial arts value, but he had no idea whether he was a person with brains or not. This matter was too important, so Wang Jinjin couldn't ask Li Guang directly. Li Guang naturally couldn't say that his own people were brainless. If he could nurture Su Yun, Li Guang would definitely be even happier. In the Hongdong society, Li Guang was already a very powerful existence. If there was another person, then he really didn't know who could contend against them. The reason why Wang Jinjin needed his subordinates to restrain each other was the same reason why the police needed many organizations to restrain each other. This was what a real super controller should do. Control was the ability that a leader who could solve all problems should have. Now that Wang Jinjin had returned, everyone in the Hongdong society was looking forward to the start of another meeting. This time, they had to get a satisfactory answer from their boss regarding how to deal with De Kuan. What exactly was going to happen? If Wang Jinjin still ignored De Kuan's actions, they had to suppress this matter together. This was something that many of the subordinates had discussed among themselves. This time, they had to dampen De Kuan's spirit and let him know that he couldn't do whatever he wanted in the Hongdong society alone. The Hongdong society belonged to everyone. It wasn't something that De Kuan could mess around with. De Kuan was probably the person who didn't want to attend this regular meeting. He knew very well what those old things would say about him, and he also knew very well what Fatty Tian would say about him. He also knew that Li Guang would definitely stand on their side to suppress him. Most importantly, De Kuan didn't want to see Su Yun. He didn't want to see this guy who made him lose all his temper. This was the most troublesome thing for De Kuan. If everyone suppressed De Kuan during the regular meeting, De Kuan wouldn't care at all. He wasn't afraid. As long as Wang Jinjin could give him a way out, De Kuan would go down very smoothly. De Kuan believed that with his usefulness to the Hongdong society, his boss would definitely give him a way out. Unlike De Kuan's worries, Li Guang was afraid that Wang Jinjin would give De Kuan a way out and indulge De Kuan. If that happened, he wouldn't know how to deal with it. This matter would become very troublesome. At that time, everyone would be at a loss. If De Kuan wanted to clamor crazily, then it would be troublesome. Therefore, Wang Jinjin's attitude towards this matter would determine everything. Li Guang wanted to talk to Wang Jinjin about this matter in advance. However, he thought of many ways to talk to Wang Jinjin, but he felt that it was inappropriate. Li Guang believed that there would definitely be people who couldn't sit still and talk to Wang Jinjin about this matter in advance. Even if no one talked to him, Wang Jinjin would definitely have spies who had already conveyed the situation to him when he was away from Hong Kong and Macau. Li Guang believed that Wang Jinjin definitely knew the truth of the matter, so he decided to endure it. Chapter 2144. The development of the matter had far exceeded Li Guang's expectations. The first thing Wang Jinjin did after returning to Hong Kong and Macau was to hold an impromptu regular meeting. The content of the regular meeting this time was not about money or territory. This matter was related to the stability and harmony of the entire Hongdong society. It was related to the issue of Wang Jinjin's control over the entire Hongdong society. Also, there was something that everyone was well aware of. It was the problem of what De Kuan had done in the past few days. This might be the most important thing today. Many people came to listen to the handling of this matter. De Kuan was different from the past. In the past, he would arrive earlier for every regular meeting. Today, De Kuan arrived at the scene almost at the last minute. At this time, many of the big brothers sitting there were discussing something. After seeing De Kuan, they changed the topic or stopped chatting altogether. Fatty Tian sat next to Li Guang. This was arranged by Li Guang. He had to control Fatty Tian's emotions at all times. Fatty Tian was still injured. After seeing De Kuan, the first thing he wanted to do was to slam the table and stand up. However, Su Yun pressed his shoulders from behind. Li Guang also looked at him and signaled him to calm down. He had already emphasized many times. He told Fatty Tian that he had to calm down in order to get a fairer result. If he lost control now, De Kuan might take the opportunity to do something that could turn the situation around. Before the matter was settled, no one dared to guarantee anything. Even Li Guang was worried that there would be an accident. Although De Kuan did not seem to have the capital to be as arrogant as before, he was still very high profile. He looked around unhappily. "Weren't you all chatting happily just now? What's wrong? Did I, De Kuan, affect everyone's mood? Or is it because someone is talking bad about me behind my back?" No one responded to De Kuan's words. De Kuan was asking for trouble. Now, he was really going to become a public enemy. When the appointed time arrived, Wang Jinjin also appeared in front of everyone. In the past, he would come to the meeting with a smiling face. This time, his style was different from the past. There was no smile on his face as he silently walked over from afar. Based on the current atmosphere, the atmosphere of today's regular meeting would definitely not be much more relaxed. However, everyone was already prepared. They were here today to watch this show. "Boss, you just came back. You should rest at home for 2 days. Why did you call us here in such a hurry?" De Kuan tried to use his humorous tone to liven up the atmosphere. But today, everyone could tell that De Kuan was the one with the most guilty conscience. Usually, the first thing De Kuan did when he arrived at the meeting was to pick a fight with Li Guang. However, it was different today. He didn't even look Li Guang in the eye when he arrived. As for why he felt guilty, it was needless to say. Before De Kuan did these things, he had never thought that there would be today's consequences. He thought that he would handle the matter beautifully and cleanly, leaving Fatty Tian with nothing to say. Fatty Tian would slander him the moment he opened his mouth. Li Guang couldn't say a word. As long as Chen Jianzhong's money wasn't taken back by Li Guang wouldn't be able to stand up straight in front of Wang Jinjin. After all, it wasn't a small amount. But now that Li Guang had taken back the money, the previous week's harvest had returned to first place. He, De Kuan, didn't have the capital to be proud and complacent. As for Fatty Tian's family, because his underling didn't keep his mouth shut, their bodies were found. This completely confirmed the fact that Fatty Tian's wife and children were killed. Although there was no direct evidence to prove that he did it, everyone present knew clearly whether it was him or not. After all, they weren't in court. They didn't have to produce substantial evidence to prove it. As long as everyone knew, this matter was basically settled. Wang Jinjin naturally knew. Therefore, today's matter was quite unfavorable for De Kuan. De Kuan wanted to make the atmosphere more relaxed and reduce the pressure on him. Unfortunately, no one cooperated with him. Wang Jinjin finally showed a smile on his face. "Yes, I do want to rest for 2 days. I don't want to gather everyone here so early. But, there are some things that I feel are necessary for the Hongdong society to clarify as soon as possible." Boss's words naturally make sense. De Kuan laughed. Come. Everyone, sit. It's time for the meeting." Everyone's eyes were focused on Wang Jinjin. They wanted to hear what Wang Jinjin had to say. Today, everyone present has their own thoughts. "I don't need to say more about this." Wang Jinjin smiled. "What I want to say is, do you think there are any barriers between the brothers of Hongdong Shi? If there are, say it out loud today." After Wang Jinjin finished speaking, he lit a cigar. Amidst the smoke, everyone looked at each other. Those who had conflicts with each other looked at each other. "I've always been a very democratic person. Everyone knows this." Wang Jinjin smiled. "We're all family. There's nothing that can't be said." Fatty Tian suddenly said, "Boss, I have something to say." The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became very quiet, because everyone even deliberately held their breaths. Everyone knew that things would soon enter a tense state. This was really not a small matter between Fatty Tian and De Kuan. "Speak." Wang Jinjin nodded. He was actually very surprised by Fatty Tian's calmness today. Li Guang had obviously played a role in pacifying him to be able to endure until now. That's right, this really wasn't an easy task. "De Kuan killed my wife and child." I need boss to make a decision on this matter. Fatty Tian gritted his teeth. If it wasn't for Li Guang holding him back, he wouldn't have waited for the club to deal with it. Wang Jinjin narrowed his eyes. Fatty Tian, you can't talk nonsense. I know that your wife and child were killed, but you can't blame it on me. De Kuan said, I did make a joke, but a joke is still a joke. Don't you think so? Fatty Tian didn't even look at De Kuan. His gaze was fixed on Wang Jinjin. He wanted to hear if the club could give him a fair and just explanation. If even Wang Jinjin couldn't give him a fair and just answer, he would go all out today. That's right, Fatty Tian had secretly brought a gun in today. If Wang Jinjin still wanted to speak for De Kuan on this matter, then he would kill De Kuan on the spot. That way, he would be done once and for all. He wouldn't have to think about so many troublesome things anymore. Even if he had to bet his life, Fatty Tian would avenge his wife and child. De Kuan, I also think that you should give me an explanation. Wang Jinjin finally opened his mouth. You know best whether you've done anything wrong or not. Of course, there are so many big brothers here, and none of them are blind people. It all depends on what you want to do. De Kuan thought that Wang Jinjin would smooth things over a little, but Wang Jinjin suddenly pointed the spearhead of the question at him. He really didn't know how to deal with it at that moment. Fatty Tian finally had a place to vent the anger in his heart. He glared at De Kuan. De Kuan, you know very well that boss can't tolerate people who lie the most. Cheng Feng also said calmly, I also think that you need to tell the truth. This way, not only will you give boss an explanation, but you will also give everyone an explanation. De Kuan glanced at Cheng Feng and thought, who do you think you are? Aren't you just relying on the fact that you are a little older? If it weren't for him, De Kuan, working so hard to earn money for the club, I'm afraid that Wang Jinjin wouldn't have kept you useless people, right? De Kuan, say something. Li Guang also urged, we are all waiting to hear what you should say and what you shouldn't say. De Kuan looked around. It seemed that everyone staring at him was using their gazes to force him to speak. They were all forcing him to admit this matter. But why must he, De Kuan, admit it? No. Of course, he didn't need to admit it. Chapter 21:45. De Kuan took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down as soon as possible. He couldn't let so many of them suppress him. He had to resist. He had to fight for a way out for himself. He didn't want to be slaughtered by these fellows. He was De Kuan. He had never been afraid of anything. He had done so many bad things in his life, but none of them could make him cry. Boss, I really have to explain this matter. De Kuan said, that's right. Fatty Tian's family was harmed. Everyone's mood is very heavy. I can understand this. Everyone can understand this. I know that everyone will suspect me because I made such a joke before. Wang Jinjin nodded, motioning for him to continue and not change the topic. Don't drag things too far away. My men admitted it personally. They said that I arranged for someone to harm them. De Kuan said, I won't deny this matter. But, boss, do you know under what circumstances my men admitted this matter? Wang Jinjin looked at De Kuan and knew that he still had something to say. My men admitted this under special circumstances. De Kuan said, you don't know what happened. In my clubhouse, Brother Guang brought nearly 100 brothers and smashed my clubhouse. My men said this under coercion. Li Guang and Su Yun looked at De Kuan unhappily. Fatty Tian couldn't hold it in and scolded, bullshit. However, De Kuan wasn't angry because of being scolded. Instead, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Boss, you know that under any circumstances, coercion is very likely to be to protect oneself. In a situation where one's life is at stake, who dares to speak nonsense? Of course, one has to choose what the other party likes to say. Don't you think so? De Kuan, if you say that, then it's pointless. Li Guang said, I didn't force your men to say that you killed them. It's your men who admitted it. There's no need for you to continue twisting the facts here. Dakuan didn't listen to anyone else as that would interrupt his train of thought. He continued to explain, "Boss, think about it. If it was really my men who did it and no one forced him, would he be stupid enough to admit that he killed people with his big brother? This obviously doesn't make sense. If your subordinates didn't kill anyone with you, they wouldn't admit it either." Su Yun said, "Everyone knows what kind of crime murder is, especially intentional murder. The minimum sentence is life imprisonment. It's impossible that your subordinates don't know this." Upon hearing Su Yun's words, Dakuan reacted. He pointed at Su Yun and said to Wang Jinjin, "Boss, he was the one who forced my men to admit it. It's him. If my man doesn't admit it, he will kill him. Even if he admits it, he will only be imprisoned for life. He will definitely choose to live." "Dakuan, you really speak without thinking." Li Guang slammed the table. "If you hadn't made the first move that day, I wouldn't have bothered with you. If you hadn't brought people to cause trouble for me, I wouldn't have injured so many of your people." Dakuan hurriedly said, "Boss, you heard it. Brother Guang admitted it. He brought people to attack my men." "Dakuan, I did attack your men, but I didn't kill anyone." Li Guang said, "Don't slander us and say that we threatened to kill your brothers. Moreover, your men also injured my men. This is a private conflict between us. There's no need to bring it up to the table and tell boss." "How is there no need?" "Of course there's a need." Dakuan said, "This matter is quite necessary. This matter is related to my subordinates admitting that we killed people. Boss, I think this is a trap. A well-designed trap waiting for me to fall into it." "So you're saying that I killed people and framed you?" Li Guang said coldly. At this time, Fatty Huang was so angry that he almost took out his gun. Dakuan shrugged his shoulders. "I didn't say that. Brother Guang, you said it yourself." Why didn't I think of this? Big brother sitting here, don't you think it's possible?" No one interacted with Dakuan. Dakuan turned around in boredom. "Alright, since everyone believes that I, Dakuan, am not a human, then I, Dakuan, am not a human. However, we told Boss about this matter because we wanted him to make a judgment. Boss is an understanding person. He sees things more clearly than all of you. Am I right?" When it came to praising Boss, there was no harm in saying more and no benefit in saying less. Dakuan knew this better than anyone else. Wang Jinjin smoked the cigar in his hand. The more people spoke and the noisier they were, the more he couldn't calm down and make his own judgment. "Boss, you really have to see through everything." Dakuan said, "I really won't do this. I'm a person who abides by the rules. If you abide by the rules, no one in the entire Hongdong society will not." Fatty Tian was also angry. He said to Wang Jinjin, "Boss, I must get a result today. I, Fatty Tian, don't have much credit for the society, but I have worked hard. If I can't get a satisfactory answer, I will definitely not agree." Dakuan looked at Fatty Tian impatiently. "Fatty Tian, what kind of person do you think you are? You actually dare to threaten Boss?" Fatty Tian said, "Don't try to slander me. Who is the one who doesn't take Boss's words seriously? Everyone present knows in their hearts. If I, Fatty Tian, have done anything that destroys the harmony of the society, I, Fatty Tian, will be struck by lightning. Do you, Dakuan, dare to say it?" Dakuan steeled his heart. "Why wouldn't I dare to say it? Who says I don't dare to say it? Of course I dare." "Then wait for the heavens to strike you to death," Fatty Tian said with a glare. "You cursing me to death is also destroying the harmony of the society. Do you know?" Dakuan said, "Don't think so highly of yourself. Fatty Tian, you aren't a good person either. You are just a fellow who forgets righteousness for profit. If not for Li Guang's power, you wouldn't have tried to curry favor with him." Fatty Tian took a deep breath. "Dakuan, if you have the guts, be a man who answers questions directly. Don't always change the topic. Why wouldn't I dare to face it? I'm facing this problem now. You said that I killed someone, but you found witnesses and evidence. Then I admit defeat. Dakuan said, a sentence forced out of my subordinate's mouth is meaningless. Wang Jinjin didn't want to hear them continue arguing. That's enough. The moment he spoke, Dakuan and Fatty Tian shut up. Fatty Tian was waiting for Wang Jinjin's words. As long as Wang Jinjin said something good about Dakuan, he would immediately prepare to shoot Dakuan to death. Boss, I'm sorry. People who are wronged will always feel uncomfortable. Dakuan didn't feel embarrassed at all. Wang Jinjin looked at Dakuan and said word by word, Dakuan, the heavens are watching what people do. If something is done, it won't be erased. If it isn't done, it won't be added. Boss, what do you mean? Dakuan said, are you saying that you are sure that I killed him? Of course. Fatty Huang said, do you think boss will let someone like you off? Fatty Huang. Wang Jinjin turned his head and said, if it was Dakuan who did it, I will definitely give you justice. But now, I just came back and there are still some things that I don't understand. Can you give me some time to understand? Fatty Huang was stunned. He wanted to kill Dakuan right now. Before Fatty Huang could speak, Li Guang said, that's right. You need time for boss to investigate properly. That way, some people will be convinced. I'm not afraid of a crooked shadow. Dakuan said, I'm not afraid of investigation. Fatty Huang still didn't speak. Wang Jinjin asked again, can you give me some time? Under Li Guang's reminder, Fatty Huang came back to his senses. If he didn't nod, he would shoot Dakuan to death now. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want to be discovered for breaking the rules, he could only hold back. In the end, Fatty Huang nodded. After all, Wang Jinjin was the boss. Since the boss had already spoken, what else could he do? He can't just keep quiet. Su Yun suddenly said, actually, there is a witness, but he's injured. I think boss should interrogate him personally. That way, he won't blame us for threatening him. Who do you think you are? Do you have the right to call me boss? You have no right to speak here. Shut up. Dakuan's disgust for Su Yun had reached the point of deep hatred. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.